Hello, I am Daniel Bloodworth. We are Easy Allies, and this is the Easy Allies podcast. This week, I'm joined by Michael Huber.
I am Michael Huber.
Michael Damiani.
I am Michael Damiani.
Making it all happen in the control room, we got Isla Hink.
I'm Batman.
There you go.
Yes.
Don Casanova is running around fixing cameras for us.
Oh, no, he's not, baby.
He's over there by a laptop.
He's over
Oh,
Gabby's keeping an eye on us.
oh, Dawn.
there. I don't know if we're allowed to say what Don is doing. Never mind.
Don't know. I don't know what Don is doing.
Isla, do you like a I am Batman or a I'm Batman?
I'm Batman. I like, it must be the bat. Oh,
Right.
And then they go, oh, maybe it must have been the wind.
Yup.
Friends,
Oh,
we're here
it's
to...
the bat. That's
Oh.
what it is.
It's the bat.
It's the bat.
It's the best.
Friends, we're here to talk about what's new, what's news, and what we've been playing. There's been a lot of rumblings about Xbox games heading to other platforms. Microsoft isn't denying anything, so just like, hey, we'll say something later. Okay. We've got Nintendo financial numbers. We're talking about some games, and we've got a special interview with Tim Schafer to catch us up on what's happening with Day of the Devs. But before we get started, we must answer the wrong question. Okay.
All right.
With all the rumors and reports happening lately,
Oh, geez.
what are your thoughts on Resident Evil 4 as a permanent GameCube exclusive?
Whoa.
I always say the more people that get to play something, the better off the world will be. So I don't like that. I don't like it one bit. Spread the wealth, Capcom.
I am dumb because I forgot the premise of this. If this was supposed to be a bit, or we're supposed to think about when it happened and actually comment on it. But yeah, I guess you just confirmed, Blood, that the Switch 2 is actually called GameCube. Which is, pretty amazing that you leaked that as the CEO of Nintendo. And that Resident Evil 4 Remake Gold Edition or Super Enhanced Gold Edition to come into Switch 2 exclusively. There you
Super
go.
enhanced gold edition.
But no, the question is wrong, but you answer it to the best of your ability.
As a tried and true console warrior myself, I think that no one should get to play games except for the people who own the console I own. The piece of plastic I own is the best one, and everyone else is human garbage. And I'm going to comment about it on the internet and accuse you of making all sorts of untoward deals because you must not love the piece of plastic that I love and base my identity around. So, yes, no one should have ever been able to play that except for people who had, honestly, the dev unit of the GameCube. Like, honestly, they shouldn't release games because that's
Creator's
not
intent.
that's not even the real unit, that it was developed on. PC is the only actual gaming console.
Oh no, they had specific GameCube dev units. But
Okay, well then in that case.
yeah. No, it's actually really fascinating to think about that. It's like, oh, this was exclusive.
It was.
Could you imagine if it
Yeah.
had stayed
That,
exclusive?
That PS2 version
they make,
was
like, a
clutch because it
promise?
had separate ways.
Was that the one that had the promise where they were made a serious stakes promise, and then a year later the PS2 version came out? Am I misremembering?
I do think that there was something along that lines where they were for sure saying it was going to stay exclusive, and then they announced it was coming to PS2 before the GameCube release.
Well, we now live in a world where you play Resident Evil 4 on
Yeah.
everything, and we got the greatest.
And before that
timeline.
too, we had Code Veronica, then Code Veronica X.
Sure.
It's like, you used to re-releases.
But that's what Damiani's bringing me back to the point. It's like Resident Evil 4 is on everything.
Everything, yeah. Play that thing on your phone.
It is on phone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
DF Gaming in chat has posed a secondary wrong question by saying that the GameCube is the best console to whack someone in the head with.
Well, you got a good handle.
You got a great handle, but it's not very heavy.
Heat action with a GameCube.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's got those sharp corners.
It does have sharp corners. I think it would hurt more to get hit by a PlayStation 5. But you don't have as much of a purchase because there's no handle.
Yeah, I think you could get more momentum with a GameCube.
Yeah.
It's true. Multiple swings. It's like a speed weapon versus a heavy. The GameCube is like the Blade of Mercy, and the PS5 is the Kirk Hammer.
The original 360 power brick.
Oh my god. An original Xbox would kill someone. For sure.
Yeah.
That's why they had detachable controller wires.
Someone in chat said that right when I said that.
That question was submitted by Cameron Standring. Thank you, Cameron. Now let's get into it. Yeah, this is like... This is the worst kind of scenario for a weekly news podcast. So we're in a state where we have rumors, and we have a company that is waiting to confirm what those rumors actually amount to.
Yeah.
So we're in the limbo zone.
It's a wild spot to be in. Yeah, I agree, Damiani.
This is the YouTube game, baby. We're making videos, 2 videos a day about this. Ride that algorithm. Let's go.
The algorithm's hot for this right now.
But yeah, the question essentially is whether Xbox is done with exclusives. And this has been kind of going on for a couple of weeks now. At the beginning of the year, we had these murmurings about Hi-Fi Rush and Sea of Thieves coming to Switch and PS5, which eventually got backed up by like data mined images of Hi-Fi Rush showing like T-shirt designs that seemed to be like indicating those platforms.
Yeah.
And then last week, Xbox Era reported that Starfield is going to make the jump to PS5 after the Shattered Space expansion. And then The Verge followed up on that, reporting that Microsoft is considering bringing Indiana Jones to PS5 a few months after the Xbox launch, which they're saying would be December sometime of this year. Quote, a new multi-platform approach for certain Xbox games is emerging inside Microsoft, we're told, with the company weighing up which titles will remain exclusive and others that will appear on Switch or PS5 in the future. We're told there's still an intense debate internally at Microsoft over which games to bring to rival consoles. All of this has been followed up with Phil Spencer saying, "We're listening, and we hear you."
How many times has he said those words? Like, has to be hundreds by now.
Only exclusively when he was on Game.
We've been planning a business update event for next week, where we look forward to sharing more details with you about our vision for the future of Xbox. Stay tuned.
So during the Nintendo Direct next week, Phil Spencer's going to get on there and announce this.
Whoa.
You know what?
That'd be wild.
That's
I
not
think
that
Hi-Fi
far
Rush will
off,
be-
dude.
Dude.
I bet the Hi-Fi Rush announcement is in the Direct, but
I didn't even think
Nah,
about that. Yeah, it
like,
could be in the
maybe.
Nintendo Direct, and that's why they
there's a
don't want
rumor
to
is
say
a
it.
partner Direct. But so real quick, before you get into like anything deep about this, Blood, I do wonder if he's being like very literal there, and that the internal debate is going on, and they're not exactly sure what to do.
Well, that's
like
from
maybe
The
there are
Verge.
like
Specifically, it said that, but yeah.
Yeah, maybe there is like, 2 competing, mindsets there. And perhaps letting it come out unofficially like this, they get to see people's reactions. Maybe that's not the best way, but it seems like a very potentially big move. So if there's any way to get a read on the room before you actually make it official, before you like make a potentially bad decision, could be useful. So I do wonder if any of this is like potentially like they're trying to get a little bit of like feedback, but man, this thing is just gonna keep going crazy until they say something. Like you're right, like it's just gonna be a circus until Microsoft says something. Phil gets on video, stage, whatever, and says what the deal is.
Yeah. It's a wild time for sure. Reminds me of the Dreamcast. That's what I've been thinking about quite a bit lately. My hope. It's such a complicated thing because console wars are super lame. Like your loyalty should be to the video games, not the box. But I do understand that like people like their ecosystems. Totally valid. Like Steam versus Epic. Achievements versus trophies and vice versa. So I totally get that. Like I see that and I hear that. But, again, I'm thinking about the Dreamcast and I'm thinking about Sega going third party. And I think of a relevant game right now. I think of Yakuza.
Yeah.
And this is a franchise that is now on like all of them are on Xbox and PlayStation, and because of that, because there's no like rivalry there, this is a universally beloved series. I mean, this is one of the most loved series in the entire industry right now, and that came out of the ashes of Sega going third party. So I'm just hoping that whatever happens, that through all of this, we can all just come together and enjoy games, and maybe it will put a tentative end to this like crazy console war that has just been raging harder than it ever has, I feel like, in the last like 5 or 10 years. It's been nuts.
Huber, if Sega did have a console right now, what would they call it?
Some like Sega Extreme something. I don't know. That's very Sega energy. I don't know. Extreme Heat.
Well, they were getting, because it was Genesis, then Dreamcast, Saturn, like they were getting more like ethereal and weird with it. So it'd probably be called like Sega Ephemera or something.
I like it. I like it.
It's funny, like, oh, sorry, go ahead, Damiani.
Go ahead, finish your things.
Well, I was going to start a new thing, so you go ahead.
Okay, so Huber, I'm with you with that, but I do also want to say, like, I do understand, like, in the short term, if this comes to fruition, Microsoft first-party games, Xbox first-party games are coming to other platforms. I can see how people invested recently into like the Xbox ecosystem might feel a little bit burned by that.
But my counter to that would be Game Pass. Like if Game Pass maybe stays on PC, Xbox consoles, but the games on other systems you have to pay, I think that would still, I think that'd be like a nice balance with the loyal Xbox Game Passers, because then they still get that value.
But Game Pass is already not, like, you can get that on your Samsung TV without an Xbox. You can get that on your phone without an Xbox.
But not like PlayStation or Switch. Like if Game Pass comes to PlayStation or Switch, like I can see people being upset by that. But
you still would get your trophies and your potentially your digital library if you could access it through cloud.
Yeah.
Maybe they just could do some kind of like loyalty thing where they reward people who've like already like invested somehow. I don't know, like give them something, like they just need to be acknowledged. I think if this is going to come to pass, they need to do something like that, because you're going to get, a vocal group of people who are like, man, like I feel burned by this. But I do feel like in the long term, coming from a consumer perspective, I feel like the dream is to have like every game available like on anything, period. So you don't have to buy, like there are no exclusives that we're probably never going to get there anytime soon. But this would be like one more step towards that, where it's like, okay, Microsoft's offerings are going to be on everything, including PlayStation and Nintendo possibly. And that's, a win for consumers, and will help erode that, kind of the fanboyism behind the different platforms. So I do see it as a big win for potentially for consumers. There is a flip side, but how do you feel about that with the consumer angle?
I agree with you, but then I ask all of you, my question is like, because competition is good. So it's like if these, Xbox versus Xbox versus PlayStation, like the battle of the exclusives, it helps the industry, and it doesn't let them rest on their laurels, so to speak. So I wonder if Xbox goes away, what will that do just in general, like without that competition there?
But so is it really?
Like Nintendo's always playing their own game.
Yeah. So I did read a discussion about this what I'm about to bring up, and I found it kind of interesting. So I kind of want to like pose it to you a little bit. That maybe in terms of like that view of competition, but view it as like Microsoft still has to compete with other third-party games. They're like always competing with them.
True, yeah.
And that they're also competing with everything else. Like look at streaming services and how their ecosystems are working, and like how they adjust their pricing, how they deal with like bouncing around like exclusives. Like there is an example of that. Like you're competing for time. So there will be that. The argument could be that they still will feel the pressure. Basically, they're not going to get complacent. But that's for I feel like the game side. You're concerned about the less hardware there is, though. I'm worried about like hardware pricing potentially for like Nintendo, especially Sony. If like Sony's like, we're the only ones left for like dedicated game systems,
$599 US
that
dollars.
PlayStation 6 is gonna be insane, possibly. But yeah, but will other things maybe keep? I don't know this answer. I'm just curious what you think. Yeah.
Well, one of the things, there was a couple of things that I was thinking when you guys were talking about that stuff. One is it's funny to me that you're talking about like, oh, Nintendo's just kind of outside.
Yeah.
Like Nintendo is the one dominating the generation.
Yeah, they're just doing their own thing,
pile of
dominating.
exclusives. And yeah, it's just like not even like it's considered as it's a side branch thing because
this is the secondary.
They pivoted
war.
so hard. Right, because like when we were talking about GameCube, Xbox, PlayStation 2, like all basically had the same games outside of exclusives, and then, with Wii is like, okay, well now you've got games that we just simply can't put on another system without completely overhauling how they play.
Yeah.
And now with Switch has got its own crazy stuff going on. But yeah, so they essentially put themselves in another category. It's like, oh, you have a PlayStation, buy a Switch too. You have an Xbox, buy a Switch as well. You don't have either of those, get a Switch. Like everybody get a Switch.
Yep.
And it doesn't feel like it's the same like side by side kind of thing.
Yeah.
Another thing, now these rumors I haven't seen pop up as frequently, so I don't know if maybe there's not as much authenticity to them or what. But there was also this thing going around talking about Xbox potentially licensing out hardware. So that like you would basically see like Asus and Razer and all these other companies make Xbox compatible machines, and then they could make essentially like more powerful versions of an Xbox or cheaper versions of an Xbox.
Nintendo tried to do this once upon a time.
Yeah. Really? Tell me about it.
The Panasonic in Japan, Panasonic GameCube. The GameCube
that was
variant.
sort of different, but yeah,
it was sort of different. But then there was like, was it 3D CDI 3DO like Magnavox whatever? They were all like
Don
the different
says
variants
yes
of
to
those
the 3DO.
systems.
And Chad is screaming about
It's-
Steam machines because this was attempted
Steam
for
machines,
that.
yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like this
Panasonic
is a thing, and Microsoft being so tied to like PC hardware as well. This felt to me like a natural thing they would try and pursue at some point. Is that before even like Game Pass like took off? I was like, maybe they just let other people build machines that run their ecosystem and their games and take some of that burden off of them, because they seem to be going towards software service, less towards hardware. So now this would make more like even more perfect sense if they like want to like scale that back a little bit.
Speaking of Game Pass, do we think they want to put games on other consoles because of Game Pass on Xbox? Just like people not buying the games versus like just getting it on Game Pass? If they get on other consoles, like I was saying earlier,
that may be part of it. It's because that's one of the things it's interesting because if you look at games that are like huge, like mega hits, right? Like if you look at Starfield and you look at Power World, stuff like that, they still got a lot of people to buy those games on top of the people that are on Game Pass, especially the people that went the early access route.
Yeah.
But something like Hi-Fi Rush, Pentiment, that was more like, oh, we could have only put this game out on Game Pass because it might not have really gotten sales.
Yeah.
But if you can then on top of that, we'll put those on PlayStation as
Pentiment
well.
would be sick on Switch.
Right. So Switch is great for Pentiment.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I
love Pentiment.
I mean,
love that game.
Yeah, they obviously want Game Pass on those platforms because I mean it's increased potential subscriptions, but that's chasing like the ever increasing subscription pricing model that we're seeing. TV movie streaming services already running into that brick wall that may not be as viable as once thought. And who is it from Sony side that recently said that they don't view game streaming like Netflix streaming, that they generally feel like people want to play like one game and like focus on it and then like really get into it and then move on to another game. They don't like binge game. They don't like their playing habits aren't the same as their viewing habits. So I do wonder whether or not this translates to like their games actually like selling. Like maybe it is better to put their game, like it's Game Pass and everything, but also like putting their their games on other platforms just to buy as well. Like Hi-Fi Rush, the one that's probably like the most confirmed, going on Switch standalone makes more sense than putting Game Pass on Switch with Hi-Fi Rush on it. I think Hi-Fi Rush is the type of game that would sell pretty well on Switch like to just people on Switch. So I think that makes more sense.
I wonder if. Go ahead.
I was gonna say I do wonder, like, because for a while, it seemed like they were trying for this kind of decentralized console-free future, and it's like, if they are on, because like, that's how you win the console war is you stop playing it. You stop fighting it. You transcend it, and you put Xbox, quote unquote, on everything. And it's like if you can get Xbox Game Pass on Apple TV and Samsung TVs and every phone, you wouldn't even necessarily need it to be on PlayStation or Switch. But if you also got it on those, it's like it would be the option for everyone, and it's like for every person paying $15 or $20 a month or whatever, you eventually make up for not having an Xbox to sell at all, right? Like in theory. I don't know. It's such an interesting take on it.
Yeah. Well, I do wonder as well because when they introduced the Xbox Series, with the X and S, and they were talking about going beyond generations and all that. I thought that would mean that we wouldn't be looking at like a full console cycle or like mid-gen refresh. It'd be like phones. Like every other year there's another Xbox. Just get the higher end Xbox, and then they would sort of, by the time Sony got around to a PlayStation 6, they would have a much more powerful machine, and kind of be pushing things that way. Mm-hmm. Maybe if these other manufacturers get involved, that's something that would happen anyways. But I wonder if, with the shortages with COVID and the supply chain, maybe threw that whole thing off. We still haven't seen whether those leaked images from the court documents are going to happen for sure this year or not.
Oh, that's a good point because you bring up like other manufacturers making Xbox hardware. I don't like. Will there even be a point if they're not smartphones and TVs? Because the rumor is they're going all digital. You're not going to need to make new machines that play the physical games on them anymore. You just need, to be able to like play them digitally. Yeah. So. That would be that's the other big part of this equation is is that going to be true, or is that their mid cycle refresh truly going to be digital only for all versions of the Xbox Series machines,
or like how PlayStation did, where it's like you buy the disk drive optional. It's like you can get a compatible disk drive, it's just not going to be included in your machine. Give us another $80.
I mean, it'll be pretty telling if they don't even have that. I think that will be like, obviously when they say what they're going to say about this, plus I think that what they say might make more sense of when we hear more about if they're going all digital, because if they want to get their exclusives off of just the Xbox hardware and onto other platforms, this seems to be pointing towards a shift in, their philosophy and their business model, that they are all in on Game Pass. They are all in on having their experience anywhere that you could like get your hands on it.
Do you think the astronomical video game budgets are also a factor in this decision?
Oh, I'm sure. And we have a Love and Strike question that we'll get to that as well.
Nice.
Some other things I did want to kind of point out though, because I feel like it's interesting the Verge saying like the internal debate about this, because I feel like Xbox has been toying with this for a while, for like at least 5 years, because I remember when I first
more
when I first saw Cuphead at GDC, and they were like essentially like Xbox had like encouraged them to bring that over to Switch, so when I saw Cuphead on Switch at GDC is what I mean. I'd seen Cuphead for a long time before that. And then both Ori games similarly went over to Switch, and I think they might have even been published by Xbox on Switch.
Has the Xbox publishing on there, but I mean the biggest one, Minecraft. It makes like some of them. I mean, it makes a ton of money on Switch.
Yeah, not only was Minecraft already a multi-platform by the time they really got involved, but like they've just expanded that. They just like made sure that people can play together, and push into that stuff. And then with like the cloud streaming, like we were saying, like they've just all in on everything that has a screen. that's where they want their Game Pass subscribers to come from people that don't even have any consoles.
Yeah.
But it has been slowing down. Like Damiani was saying, it's like that subscription path has not, been the straight shot that it seemed like a couple years ago. And I think that the fact that Sony has their own now, kind of, dilutes the proposition there too. It's like, well, I can get Game Pass or I can get the PlayStation equivalent of Game Pass. The difference is that, PlayStation first party really isn't over there on the higher ends as much. And definitely not the day one.
Yeah.
Sony's not going for day one yet.
No. Nowhere near as good.
Yeah, they're protecting the value of their
But I remember when they were first showing off the xCloud stuff, like I was convinced that they were going to put it on Switch.
Yeah.
Like I was like, they're going to say it.
Yeah.
They're going to say it. Everything that has been pointing to that, and I think Nintendo probably doesn't want it, but who knows?
Any doom and gloom for the video game industry because of this? Like if Xbox just fully pulls out and goes third party, like video game budgets keep going up, and with one less player in there, like one of the biggest ever in the biz. Like,
but there won't be. It's just a platform. So that's what's weird.
They'll still be around, like Sega.
They just bought Activision Blizzard. Like they're not going away. But yeah.
Yeah. There was a social thread I was reading about we were talking about consumer focus, but like from the developer standpoint, how this might potentially be negative for developers because the loss of like a first party platform, if it just becomes like a service instead of like a hardware platform, it means potentially less opportunities. But I'm not entirely sure about that because I don't know enough about what goes on behind the scenes. Like if Xbox hardware went like away and they were just like Game Pass and digital, you could buy your games digitally on any platform. Would all their other programs wouldn't just go away, right? Like, their initiatives, those would still, because they'd still want to secure software, right? For their service, because Game Pass would essentially be the thing. So I don't know if I necessarily agree with that, but I did see some concerns that it potentially isn't good when you lose like a first party. One of the big three now becomes the big two. That might not be great.
Yeah, well, I could definitely see, is the fact that Xbox is trailing right now a factor in, like the PlayStation Plus price increases and stuff. It's like, oh, yeah, we don't have to worry about if Xbox is cheaper because people aren't buying the Xbox, so we can kind of do what we want right now.
Yeah.
So there's definitely, I do think that's definitely a factor. And, what does it matter if they secure an exclusive or not if there's nothing else to be exclusive on? Mm-hmm. But so far, it doesn't sound like that stuff is going away. One of the things I do think is pushing in this direction, too, is the Call of Duty thing. We talk about Minecraft. Call of Duty is kind of a similar thing where it's like they saw that, and it's like, well, we can't make Call of Duty exclusive. We will definitely lose money and goodwill if we make Call of Duty exclusive to Xbox. So they're like, they did whatever math was there, and it's like, yeah, people will just, they won't come to Xbox. They'll just stop playing Call of Duty, and they'll stop buying it.
Yeah.
So, but here's another one from another quote from The Verge from Xbox CFO Tim Stewart. He said this in November. Quote, "Not announcing anything broadly here, but our mission is to bring our first-party experiences and our subscription services to every screen that can play games. That means smart TVs. That means mobile devices. That means that we would have thought that means what we would have thought of as competitors in the past, like PlayStation and Nintendo."
Wow.
You just flat out said this in November.
Jeez.
Yeah, I remember that.
Planting the seed. Jeez.
But it's a different thing when you start talking about specific games.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think what we're going to see is not going to be a full-on abandoning of exclusives. I think what we're going to see is going to be like PlayStation 5 games on PC. Where we're going to see maybe something like Helldivers that comes day and date, but a lot of it is going to be very up in the air, case-by-case basis. Mm-hmm. Here's Horizon Forbidden West a year and a half later.
Yeah.
And like they're saying, here's Indiana Jones on Xbox, and then
play it first here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then 6 months later, they'll announce
Oh.
Indiana Jones on PlayStation 5.
Yeah. Which is still huge because you see what people will do to play a game even 3 days early, let alone
Right.
months. You
Yeah.
know, that's still huge.
And I think that's another fair point in terms of what you're talking about with the costs and stuff of development is, you can get more sales if you release on all platforms. You can save marketing money if you release on all platforms at the same time. But in terms of actually developing a game, like honing in on that specific hardware and like getting the most out of it and just
Totally.
like having that as your focus, like you see the difference.
100%.
You-
First party all the way.
Yeah, you always see what a first party can do
Yeah.
when they're not having to, develop around like 5 different platforms.
Totally.
So,
Wild
Yeah.
times right now. It's so wild. What is it going to look like in 6 months?
Yeah.
what's it going to look like next week?
I know.
We're sitting here waiting for Microsoft to
Yeah.
actually say what they're going to do.
Serious. Holy moly.
Damiani's got a little taller over here.
They probably have.
Yeah.
They've probably gone through that
Finally.
script like multiple times.
So, yeah. Anyways, any other thoughts before I move on? We'll have more to say next week.
Yeah, a lot more, I'm sure. Just love your video games. Just don't go crazy on people.
Yes.
You know?
That is for sure. There have been some people going nuts.
Yeah,
Like, it's all just about video games.
yeah.
Well, and like
Play Infinite
Play them where you
Wealth.
got them.
if you're defending a console with fervor, you are a corporate stooge. You've fallen prey to years of marketing.
That is a visceral attack, Isla.
Well, it goes back to like we do it, Nintendo don't. Like that's an
It does.
ad.
Yeah.
That's a
That's-
commercial.
That's where it started.
like
Yeah.
it's the entire console war is a marketing scheme. Like it's nothing but that. And it's like if you're defending it, you're defending a
Sega
marketing
started
scheme.
it, and then
Genesis
they left the
had
fight.
the most
Yeah, yeah.
insane ads. Oh my goodness.
I still remember them. Do you remember them doing the shoot with the N64s? They had like this N64 and like a clay pigeon thing, and
That was the Crash Bandicoot.
and,
yeah.
and flung it up in the air and blasted it out
Yep.
of the air with
Oh my
a shotgun.
I remember those.
Oh my god. So nuts.
Yep. Crash Bandicoot just tossing them out there.
All right. I'm going to talk about a game. Steam Next Fest is happening.
Yeah, it is.
Tons of stuff out there.
Dude, Stormgate beta. Let's go.
Yeah, that Stormgate beta is happening. Skull and Bones beta is happening.
Stormgate.
Final Fantasy VII just decided to just say, too bad, indies. We've got our own demo.
Yo, Stormgate's sick, but it needs more violence. it needs to up the violence. When you're like shooting each other and like getting in like a big war, it's just like pop, 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 pop. Things are like dying. It's very like chill, whereas StarCraft 2 units are just like exploding.
Nice.
Yeah, I need that.
Yeah.
Just a beta though.
We'll get your feedback.
Sound
for sure,
mechanics.
For sure. But the one I wanted to check out, the one demo I grabbed off of Steam Next Fest, which they think they put out a couple of days earlier, was for Tales of Kenzera Zhao, which, Huber, remember this was revealed at the Game Awards. You
Nope.
go ahead and start rolling the trailer.
I do not.
By Abu Bakr Salim, who's an actor who's got a new studio up and running.
I remember. This
Yeah.
is like the family one. Yes.
Yeah, he lost his dad, so he wanted to make a game that kind of like
Incredible.
paid tribute to his dad because
This is
he
the one
played.
where he went out and started. He led with that, like
Yeah.
described losing his dad and stuff, and we are all like, okay, cool. This is gonna be like a sad like story game,
Yeah.
and it's like a freaking Metroidvania. And we're
Yeah.
all like, oh, okay.
Yeah. And yeah, so you play as the shaman Zhao, who has lost his father, and he makes a deal with the god of death, Kalunga.
That seems risky.
It does, but here's the thing. This is what's interesting about getting something from a different cultural context is like this guy seems like a jolly old man.
The god of death
Yeah.
is jolly.
Yeah,
Awesome.
He's like this somebody who's just like be respectful and all
Yeah.
of this kind of thing and
Cool. Strong Prince of Persia vibes, of course, just because it's new and
Yep.
on the mind.
right.
Yeah.
Yep. I'm definitely.
Which is a very good
vibes.
thing.
And so I guess what he needs to do is he needs to bring peace to 3 great spirits that have cheated death.
That sounds awesome. Great premise.
And that's kind of the mission that you're out to have.
That's a good hook.
Yeah. And so as you saw in the trailer, you have like both a sun mask and a moon mask for your different abilities. One thing that's interesting in terms of like Metroidvania staples, at least in the demo, you start out with a double jump and an air dash.
Nice.
So you're really mobile
Straight away.
right off the get go.
There you go.
But with the masks, so the sun is like melee attacks and launchers. So like pow 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 and then uppercut.
Launch them up, juggle them.
Because like one button is like your quick attack, the others are heavy.
Nice.
The moon,
Okay.
they're like projectiles, so like little blue laser blasts.
Nice.
And then you've got kind of like a close like shotgun blast kind of thing.
Cool.
And then with the moon, you can like hold the trigger to like aim more precisely. So get the ranged filth.
Nice.
Okay.
Yes. Brandon Jones.
Yeah. Then that's nice though is swapping back and forth. You can like uppercut with the sun and swap to moon, and then juggle with the little laser blasts. So nice little feel, nice little mechanics to play around with there. He is a little headstrong. He gets into arguments with Kalunga here and there as you're going through.
That's fun.
And then like there's this point where you like run across a bridge and the bridge shatters and it's like and you get kind of scolded and it's like, okay, now you got to find your way out of these caves.
That's cool that they're characters.
Yeah.
That's sweet.
And then in there I got like you get these like ultimate kind of like spirit attacks. And you like click both sticks in, and so like for the moon, it's like a blast out in front of you, and then for sun, it's like a pillar of fire.
Yeah.
And then I remember. I think what you do, I think as you're like doing normal attacks, you build up your spirit meter, and then like you can use that to heal, or you can like save up 2 chunks to do your big attack.
Save it up for the boss.
Yeah.
Does it do the like Prince of Persia thing? Can you lose it by getting damaged, or is it just always
I
constantly
think that
building?
like once it's filled, you keep it. Like I don't think you lose that.
Okay.
meter. But
Yeah, that's cool that they're characters because like Metroidvanias are usually very isolating.
yeah,
You know, very
intentionally so.
Yeah, exactly.
Solitary. Yeah.
Very.
There's been some good music. There are skill trees for Sun and Moon separately. So when you get skill points, you can decide which path you want to go down. The first one that I got had like an active reload for your laser blast.
Classic.
Push the button at the right time. There's like spikes that you can launch enemies into. But you also have to like avoid them as you're like going down the river rapids. Like jump at the right time to keep from smashing into the spikes. Very reminding me of Tomb Raider, the 3D, the big Tomb Raider remake.
Gosh.
There are the trinkets. I got one that like will increase damage for like bashing enemies into each other or into obstacles.
Okay.
And then the first like Metroidvania like ability that you get is to freeze. So you can freeze enemies, but then you can also freeze water. And then you use that to freeze
traverse.
the waterfalls. And you can wall jump up the waterfalls, and then you get back to where that
sick.
bridge was broken.
Love that.
And that's basically where the demo was ending.
Sweet. Yeah, Blasphemous 2 vibes with the weapons are your weapons, but also tools for traversal. I love that in a Metroidvania.
Yeah. And then just in terms of performance, it did have like the like shader stutter thing going on. I saw other people talking about that with like a lot of Steam Next Fest demos. So it might run a little bit more smoothly on consoles. But we'll see. It's still got a couple months to go. That's coming out April 23rd
Nice.
on everything. PC,
Okay.
PS5, Switch, Xbox. And like I said,
For everybody. Everybody can play.
yeah.
Sweet.
But I'm hyped just to see, like stuff coming with this kind of like, again, that like the African background. Like I've been wanting to see more of that. It's like we're like video games are making their way around the world. Like okay, where's Africa? It's like and there it is. Nice.
Yeah, I'm excited for that one too, bud. Definitely on the list.
Nice. Speaking of cool creative games, next up We are talking with Tim Schafer about Day of the Devs. We had to schedule that earlier, so Huber and Damiani are going to go away for a bit, but we'll get them in a few minutes. Hello, everyone. Welcome, Tim Schafer today from Double Fine and Day of the Devs. Hey, Tim.
Hello. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for being here.
Yeah, so we've both been to Day of the Devs events in the past. We went to the one that was here after the Game Awards last December, and then we've been to like GDC and Summer Game Fest and all of that.
Thanks for coming.
Love it.
Let us know, kind of like, because we're familiar with Day of the Devs, but I don't know if everyone listening is. Kind of give us an idea of like what that event is all about, and then this crazy new announcement you made earlier this year.
Yeah, I'd love to. It was over 10 years ago. We wanted to talk about one of our games, but we're like, we want to kind of show that's really like fan friendly but really positive, doesn't have any toxicity, and also really like low key and just a festival kind of feeling, more like instead of a giant marketing juggernaut, and also we wanted something in, San Francisco because we're lazy, don't want to travel, but we're like, let's just make one up. And so Greg Rice put together this show by a lot of it by himself in this just a little bar, and then called I Am 8-Bit to help out, and they've just turned it into a bigger and bigger show every year until it became this like amazing festival of 70 or so indie games mostly. But the idea is that it's free. It's free to attend. It's free to show your game. The developers don't pay anything to come. There's no fancy booths. Everyone just has the same setup. And it's open to the public, and it's open to all ages. But it still has food and drink and live music from performers who perform in like video game musicians that people are familiar with. So it's really meant to be kind of like in the spirit of music festivals, just a celebration of the art of video games. And it's been something that has inspired me every year, especially when they put that sizzle reel together. Here are all the games they're giving me at Day of the Devs. They edit together all their games. And it's like this is crazy thing, because if you've worked in games for as long as I have, sometimes you feel like you've seen it all, and then you see that sizzle reel and you're like, oh my God, games can do anything. Games are magic. This is amazing. Get all excited again. And so it's one of my favorite things. But it was always, came out of Double Fine and I Am 8-Bit, and it was still meant to be free. So we do fundraising, and there's this question of like, well, aren't you part of a company? Like, why are you doing fundraising, and why don't you just pay for it? So it's like, this is really a nonprofit. We should make it officially a nonprofit. So this year we put in the, research and stuff to figure out how to do that. And we got it completely freed from any sort of ownership. So it's 100% independent, 100% free and clear, and 100% nonprofit, official nonprofit. So we just launched a fundraising. Now we got to do some fundraising, and it's on the dayofthedevs.com page. You can find out how you can become a supporter of Day of the Devs, the greatest game festival of all time.
It really is. The vibes are exactly as you described, and like last year the games were so cool. Like there was that game you had to fool traffic AI to not think you're a human, and like
hit by a self-driving car.
Yeah, so good. I fooled it by using phones as headlights. It was very fun.
Oh wow.
But every dev always talks about that, how it's like such a good vibe and it's free for them to attend, and every dev I talked to was so thrilled about that. So it seems like going nonprofit is the way to go. Like,
yeah, before it was just you guys partnered up. It wasn't any kind of organization to it, really.
It came out of, we were at work at Double Fine, so it was kind of like, and I was at work, so it was like us putting it on ourselves. But we're still, as a company, that we're owned by Xbox and stuff now, so it's kind of it seemed like it's we wanted to just clarify that, because we're acting like a nonprofit, that the spirit is nonprofit and platform agnostic. That's the other thing. We want it to be really independent, so there'd be no question about it. It's just about the games. It's not about any particular business or anything.
What does that landscape look like now? Indie games have changed a lot since you started this, right?
Yeah, that was the other part of it. It was a lot of the news articles back then were about the shock of because there was this initial rush of like indie games, like it's just Braid, Limbo, and these big hit indie games, and everyone's like, oh, I could just release my indie game, it'll be a big hit like Braid. And all of a sudden there were thousands of that graph of how many Steam games get released today just went up and up and up and up. that's part of why we realized it was bigger than us. It wasn't just the games we wanted to show. It's like there's some really great games out there, and they could be getting lost in this just wash of just tons and tons of games. So it's about, and that just keeps going, right? There's still more and more and more games. So finding the games that we put together a curation committee of people from all across the industry, people who work for every company and don't work for companies, and experts and people who really love games who are willing to take all these submissions that we get.
So it's not just the 5 of you.
No, right. Yeah. We're just the board of the nonprofit, but we have a curation committee. I think their identities are secret because we don't want them to be harassed, but it is a larger group of people, and they diligently play, kind of break up the list and play as many of them they can and bubble up the ones they think are really special. And the whole group talks about it and makes the final cut. And Greg Rice is the head curator. He kind of drives that whole process. And it really.
So we should harass him. Okay. Got it.
I have.
He's not hiding. Let me tell you, Greg is not hiding.
No,
So you can find. But it's like about celebrating like both beautiful, unusual games, but also really just there's so many nice, fun to meet developers. There's developers from underrepresented groups and from countries you don't know that has a big game scene that we hear from, and promoting those is really fun, and just so many fresh new ideas every year.
Yeah, that was sort of our next question, was like, how do you pick? I imagine you get inundated with games, but you sort of answered that. So if someone is an indie dev and they want to have their game curated or considered, how do they do that? How do they submit?
I think just go to the dayofdevs.com site and there'll be a submissions link in there. I think it's locking it down for the GDC edition show, because we have a show coming up the Sunday before GDC, and then there's the next one will be the digital one in the summer, tied into Summer Games Fest, and then there'll be that live event that you went to in Los Angeles. So
yeah, what was that like? Because that was like a whole shift too, to where like now you're not just putting together like a physical show, but like you're like putting together like a press conference almost for like the Summer Game Fest and all of that.
Yeah, well, it's like funny that we like a lot of the things that came because of COVID, we were all just kind of found. I mean, we found an advantage to it. We did the digital showcase because we couldn't do the physical showcase during COVID, and but then we found we reached a lot of people over that digital showcase that couldn't come to San Francisco. They couldn't come to LA or the West Coast. And so people there was a worldwide audience and millions of people watching it. And I was like, oh, this is also great in a different way. You can never replace the energy of a live show, but reaching so many more people was exciting too. So we decided to keep that. And, a lot of that collaboration with what Jeff Keighley was doing came from the relationship between him and, us and IM8bit. And IM8bit really, John Gibson and Amanda White are, set up that Los Angeles shows to be close to the Game Awards, so even more people could come. So I think that's good. That's good. 3 shows a year. I think that's pretty good, but you never know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it seems like a lot to me.
Considering we all have jobs, that's
yeah.
Second job thing. Yeah. I think with that, what's maybe like one of the strongest examples that you've seen, from like a game benefiting from the showcase, whether it was the digital showcase or the in-person,
Oh gosh, I mean, we've had some. I gotta bring up that bundle. There's a bundle going on right now on the Day of Devs site that you can get if you fundraise. You can see some of the best examples of games that have had some of their first shows there. I think we were the first public showing of the Untitled Goose Game. I think.
Oh yeah.
I think the rush to get on the show is, John says that's why it was called Untitled Goose Game, because they had to show it. Forgive me, House, if that's wrong, but I think that's right. But we showed our own games like Broken Age there, but we've shown other like Sports Friends and fun things that are fun to play and with groups. Obra Dinn is in that bundle. I'm trying to. I don't know if I want to guarantee some of these debut there. A lot of these debuted like Below and stuff debuted at the show, but like let's see if I can think of some more examples of so I think of I wish Greg was here now, or John, to talk about some of the more previously unknown games that kind of exploded at the show. I mean, there's so many. Yeah.
Do you find that you found like Because I imagine have you found out about a lot of games you wouldn't have otherwise known about by doing this show? Have you found any favorites personally through? I mean, maybe you don't want to single anyone out, but
Yeah, I mean, sometimes it's just an unusual like visual look or a way of moving around the world. Like the one about the robot that was jumping between planets, was that Jetoromo? I forget the actual name. But there's one about a sleeping man who just was kind of slithering around the walls of the house. Do you remember that?
I remember that one.
Oh,
yeah.
And I was like,
I
I don't know.
but I remember that one.
I don't know I don't know if I ever would have seen this game outside of the show.
I love
But
that.
I really just love meeting all the developers. Like one year we took them out for a hike down at Land's End and took them down for a little hike. And they, some of these people, they're meeting each other for the first time and getting out of isolation. Indie games can be kind of isolating. It's just like you and your team of two people. Maybe you're not even working physically with anybody, but just working remotely. It's just nice to get people together and get them socializing.
That really shines through when we're at the events, and like I've worked with IndieCade for a lot of years, and like that's what I've always loved about it is just like people meeting each other, and like the energy is unparalleled. I love it, and Day of the Devs has that for sure.
Yeah, it's something people, I think a lot of us old timers don't realize we're going to miss about E3. We used to be able to get paid to all come to one town and be together all the time.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
How are we going to get that boondoggle back? But like, this is a little bit of that for indies because they can show up and kind of meet each other.
Indie 3.
Yeah, so you kind of brought them up. So what do your events look like this year? Because I know like in the past Summer Game Fest, like you had the booth at Summer Game Fest. Are you doing an actual event there, or is it still the same as the past couple of years?
We are doing the live shows are the spring and winter shows. So the in-person one at GDC, the Sunday before GDC, and then the winter one is around the Game Awards. And then Game Fest is the digital one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it. And then, how do you, you kind of talked about the fundraiser. How do people get in there, and who are you actually kind of looking for to be partners with this? Are you looking for players to be doing this? Are you looking for more industry people, or just guys with a lot of money?
Now that we are a nonprofit, we can do all kinds of. You can be an individual, like just a game fan can join and drop in $50 or something, or you can be. We still are going for our corporate sponsors and trying to get all the platform holders. Like they've often gotten larger donations or matching from a. Well, in the old days, we just get a straight up donation from a large platform holder or a large company, or we've had some interesting sponsors like Squatty Potty, like whoever.
Oh yeah,
remember that one. And then and now we're doing some matching. Those are getting announced when they're live, but other sponsors might help. Got a nice donation from sometimes a really successful developer like Bone Loaf, or. Those are also listed on that page. But if you go to daydevs.com, you can see the fundraising goals and how to do it, the announcement video. And also there's some tiers. There's the $100 gets you the bundle, which gives you a whole bunch of indie games. And then there's another tier that lets you get mugs and a sock and a keychain.
One sock?
I don't want to crash the website, but okay, you're right. We should do 2 socks. So a pair of socks.
Okay. Well, donate another 100 and you get the other sock.
Yeah. Yeah, first sock free. Second,
it's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
Well, and I've noticed at the show, everyone, like you said, is on the same kit of hardware and stuff. So I guess I had assumed that those were kind of part of the donations and stuff too, is like everyone's rig and everything. Yeah, which I thought was really cool.
Yeah, the PCs are all usually donated by a partner, and so like the headphones come from a company, but I don't want to name their names in case they're sponsors this year, but happy to name their names later when we know who they are.
Once announced, and we'll put everyone else on blast.
Yeah.
Who didn't?
And then Tim, I know we don't have a lot of time with you, but just before we wrap up, just a quick personal thing. What's starting off your 2024? What are you playing right now?
I just this seems strange, but I just remembered there's DLC for Dredge. I got so excited. I haven't played that yet. Oh, that's awesome because I love Dredge. The vibe of
remembering a DLC is like Christmas. It's like always the best.
Yeah, it's awesome. So I love that. I'm still playing Tears of the Kingdom. This is one of those games I just jump out of and then play something else, then jump back into it. I played through Cocoon. I love puzzle games like that, Cocoon. And I don't know, what do you think I should play next?
Talos Principle 2, if you like puzzle games.
Yeah.
Which one? Oh,
The Talos Principle 2.
I've never played a Talos Principle game. That is.
Well, then you play the Talos Principle 1 first.
I think you would love it. You might like Outer Wilds also.
No, I played Outer Wilds.
Okay. Yeah, if you liked that, you'll love Talos Principle.
Okay. But
Deep nerd
can
stuff,
I jump right into 2, or do
philosophical.
I have to start with 1?
You could start on 2 either way.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yep.
Well, Tim, thank you so much for stopping by. Great to have you here. And if there's anything else you want to say before you go, just let us know.
Just thank you for having me. Letting me talk so much about Day of the Dead. I'm glad you guys came to the show, and I'm glad I hope you come to the next one and have a great time there.
We'll be there. I love it.
And everybody else, submit your games and come to the show.
Yeah.
It's free. Did I mention it's free? We have food truck.
Yeah.
Free.
The food's not
Food
free,
truck was
but-
good.
Yeah, they're good food trucks.
They were good though. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good time. All right, thanks so much, G2.
Thank you.
Nice, thank you.
Bye, everybody.
Okay, Huber and Damiani are back.
Yo.
It's numbers time.
Love numbers.
We got
Oh.
Nintendo's
Numbers
Q3
never lie, but liars use numbers.
Q3
Whoa.
financial reports. First off, overall profits.
Yo, GTA 5 was in the sales numbers, dude. It was said GTA 5.
I was gonna put this at the
5
end.
million more copies.
I was gonna put this at the end for
Oh,
Huber, though. We'll
boy.
get to it
Couldn't get
since
it
we're
right.
already there. Grand Theft Auto has now 195 million units.
It's almost at 200.
All right.
It's right there.
Red Dead Redemption 2
Yeah,
is at
Red Dead.
61 million units.
Get it, Red Dead.
And NBA 2K24 is having a soft year at 7 million compared to 8
Soft.
million the year before.
Hey,
They attribute that to fewer people playing on last gen. Last gen sales dipped for NBA 2K.
Got it.
Still the best-selling sports franchise, though.
Yeah.
enjoy those GTA numbers.
Insanity.
You're gonna get a sobering dose of reality with these Nintendo numbers for something in a second.
Dude, GTA 6 is like launching at 200 million.
Zelda's not keeping pace, Damiani?
that is very correct.
Yeah.
Dude.
Yeah.
There is no way in hell Tears of
Seriously?
the Kingdom's coming anywhere near 50
Dude,
million
1/4 of GTA
Not
5's
even.
lifetime for Tears of the Kingdom, I think I can do it. It's just a fourth. 1/4 of
The
GTA.
Breath of the Wild is not even
Yeah,
gonna hit
Breath of the
50
Wild
million,
hasn't
so
even
you
hit
can
50.
you can stop.
All right. Yeah, Nintendo numbers. So profits up to 2.7 billion,
With a B.
almost 18% compared to this time last year.
Get it.
Yeah.
Big install base there.
Yeah. Switch hardware sales are down for the year, 7.8%, but that's still 13.7 million units.
Jeez.
The total for the Switch is 139.36 million units sold as of December 31st. So
Get in there.
just 16 million from being the best-selling console ever.
Wow.
That's another year and a half. They
Yeah,
could-
it'll get that.
They
It'll
could
get that.
probably get that.
For sure.
That is nuts.
The best selling in Japan.
PS2 is shaking right now. Shaking in its boots.
The OLED was up 6.2%. The standard model is down 34.9%. And the Switch Lite is up 9%. So it's going to have all
The
that
specialty ones are.
Software overall is down 4.7%, but even though the unit sales are down, there's a lot of new titles released in 2023 with strong starts. 24 titles over 1 million copies.
That is really good.
Yeah.
The Switch.
Yeah, that is really, really good. Wow.
17 first party, 7 from third party.
17? 1 million? Oh my God.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, when you have 139 million out there, a million is like nothing, you know? So
Yeah. And probably what
I'm
helped-
not saying it's like easy to sell a million copies, but like that massive install base helps so much.
Probably what helped that profitability number, though, even though the numbers were down, digital sales up by 11.7%.
Digital world.
So that means
Digital sales.
Digital future.
more people buying.
We don't want your future.
More people buying the digital future means fewer people buying physical, which means less money being spent by Nintendo on shipping and packaging and retailer cuts and all that.
GameStop posters and,
Yep.
and big standees and all that stuff.
Super Mario Brothers Wonder,
Oh, so good.
11.96 million units in under 3 months.
Hell yeah.
The fastest selling Super Mario title to date. Super Mario RPG Remake, 3.14 million units in under 2 months.
Yeah.
Pikmin 4's got 3.3 million under its belt.
That's great. The little Pikmin that could.
Huber, just this year,
Yeah.
Mario Kart 8 Deluxe.
Here we go.
Another 6.79 million.
Just in 23 or 24?
This is just 3 quarters, the past 3 quarters. It's not even a full year.
Nice.
What's the lifetime on that? Is that up to?
The lifetime on
just
Mario
over.
Kart 8 Deluxe
Yeah.
is 60.58 million on Switch. The Wii U Mario Kart 8 is 8.46 million.
Dude,
So that's like 69 million total.
the GTA 5 numbers in are just the most insane thing I've ever heard in my entire
Yeah.
life.
Huber, just
That
so you know,
is
the
ridiculous.
Mario Kart 8 Deluxe has outsold the Wii U.
Yeah.
It has outsold the GameCube, the Nintendo 64, the NES, and the Super Nintendo.
Just out of the whole console. Man. That is nuts.
It's funny though because like I was looking at the percentages
God.
and calculating that. So 1 million out of 139 million is
Yeah.
0.7%
Not
of your
even
install
one.
base, not even 1%. And 60 out of 139 million is 43%. So it's like not even half of everyone who owns a Switch has Mario Kart. That's kind of surprising
That's
to me,
correct.
actually.
Probably neighbor kids. That's why.
Oh,
Fucking
yeah.
neighbor
You know,
kids,
neighbor
dude.
kid has
I
it.
mean, all you need is one set of Joy-Cons.
You just need
to play
one person.
multiplayer.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Well, and everyone has 4 Switches per household.
Yeah,
so.
that too. That's,
Yep,
that's probably
yep,
part of
yep.
it. Don't need another
Yeah.
Mario Kart. You've already got it.
Yeah.
Animal Crossing New Horizons is next. 44.79 million.
That's insane.
Wow, that could hit 50.
Big drop there, though. 60 to 44. Another big drop to the next one. Third place is Smash Brothers, 33.67 million.
That's insane for Smash Brothers. Well, I mean, I know what it is, and that's like, it's still a huge number, but like, even if you classify it as anything remotely close to a fighting game, it's like no other fighting game comes close to Smash Brothers. Like themselves, what was the Street Fighter 6's numbers at like 3
Yeah.
million or something?
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, like I feel like it's like Mortal
Kombat's like
Mortal
10
Kombat's
right?
the-
yeah.
Yeah, Mortal Kombat's the only one that can get anywhere in like,
It's
throw that football over the mountains.
It's that
range of Smash
roster,
Brothers.
dude. The most legendary collection of gaming mascots
And what was
in the
it?
biz.
The rumor that Sakurai's back in the studio or something working on something. So this is probably why.
Maybe.
Get that next Smash going.
Dude.
Fourth place, Breath of the Wild, 31.61 million.
So take that in, Huber.
41.
Breath of the
Dude, it'll
Wild,
get
the
there.
first one.
GTA 5 is
at
still
31.
selling, dude. This is a long road. It is not
All right.
over. GTA 5 just sold another
5
5
is on
million.
way
like
more
nothing.
platforms. Way more
Dude,
platforms.
this shit is
than-
launching on
Dude,
Switch 2, and it's going to give it a huge boost. Get ready. The definitive edition of Tears of the Kingdom on Switch 2, better
That's
frame rate, better
assuming-
visuals, extra
ass-
shit. It's going down 100%.
Assuming they do that, and 2, assuming they don't let your digital or physical copy carry over with enhancements. Or
Oh,
something.
yeah, that's true. They probably
yeah, like
will.
you don't know.
Fair.
But there
Fair
might
point,
be like a
fair
$10
point.
Don't know.
upgrade, but who knows how they'll track that.
Yeah.
But as it stands right now, that's still at just under. It's at 31 million, either under 13 million, and it's
That's
like
Breath of the
that's
Wild.
the first one. That's like 7 years, Huber. It's been out for 7 years, and it's still not
Tears
there.
of the Kingdom is down at 9th. That's 20.28 million.
1.2, almost halfway there.
So 10 million behind Breath of the
It's
Wild.
almost halfway.
Mario Odyssey is at 27.65 million.
Wait, say it again.
Mario Odyssey,
Yeah.
27.65 million.
Okay. Should be more.
Huber, will you count future re-releases of, like, if they do like a Switch 2 bundle of Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom or something like that, would you count that still?
For lifetime Tears of the Kingdom total.
Okay.
Like, like GTA 5 does.
So over the next 1,000 years, you figure.
No, we had a cutoff date.
I mean,
we had a
yeah,
cutoff
if
date.
Time
Oh yeah, I forgot.
Oh, you have a cutoff
Yeah.
date? Because I was gonna say, if it's infinite, you
Yeah,
win the
no,
bet
no,
by
no, no.
default.
There was a cutoff date. I don't remember what it was.
I
but-
do remember
Yeah.
I remember us
Okay.
making a cutoff
Good to
date,
know,
but I
good
don't
to
remember
know.
what it was.
Yeah.
Then we got the Battle of the Pokemon. Sword and Shield is 26.17 million. Scarlet and Violet is 24.36 million, right on its heels.
Wow.
Then number 8
Uh-oh.
is the bad Mario Party, Super Mario Party, 20.34.
Mario
Yep.
Party.
23.
20 million, 20.34 million.
20.3.
And that was the bad one?
Yeah.
That was the bad
That was the one-
He's having an issue.
That was the one they were like,
My cat is.
Cat Attack.
hell yeah.
Cat is taking down Robamiani.
Super Mario Party was the one they were like, hey, we're going to support this. There's going to be more stuff. And then it just never
I
came.
don't know if they actually said that or everyone just thought they said that and they keep repeating it. And so we just are in this loop of
I've been
everyone keeps
incepted.
repeating it. Right.
I've been incepted. No corrections, so I'll never know.
No, it's probably been corrected before.
No, I mean in this podcast. It's where I get all my gaming news.
Rounding out the top 10 is New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe, 17.2 million for the Switch version. The Wii U version had done 5.82 million, and then New Super Luigi U,
Jeez.
which is concluded in Deluxe, is
Yeah.
3 million.
Okay.
So, all in all, that's like 25 million for New
Yeah.
Super Mario Bros. U.
Wow.
And then some others that were on the report, but out of that top 10, Switch Sports, 12.5 million. Mario Party Superstars, the good one,
Yes.
12.3 million.
Jeez, half of everyone got burned on Super. That's so funny. Oh, Mario Party All Stars is the
I already
best.
have a Mario Party. Why do I need another one?
Oh, that is like top 3 Mario. Maybe like, dude, it's honestly maybe the best Mario Party game.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Luigi's Mansion 3, just shy of 14 million, 13.98.
Nice.
Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury, 13.17.
Heck yeah.
Splatoon 3, 11.7.
Nice.
And we already covered the 2K stuff. Huber jumped the gun. We got all that GTA in there.
Sorry.
But yeah, any thoughts on all this craziness?
I mean, I can tie it back to the Xbox story, Blood, and it's just that install base, reaching more people,
Yeah.
having more eyes and hands on it, and just being able to play your games
And
clearly
then
has...
Mario Kart selling like a brand new game every year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if I'm Sony or Microsoft, I'm looking over and I'm like, yo, 140 million install base. Like, let me get some of that.
All right, we've got more to come, but if you've been enjoying the show so far, please take a second to like and subscribe and ring that bell on YouTube and leave a review on those podcast apps. It helps us and it helps you stay connected. And now, a word from our sponsor.
Selling a little or a lot, Shopify helps you do your thing, however you cha-ching. Shopify is the global commerce platform that helps you sell at every stage of your business. From the launch your online shop stage to the first real-life store stage, all the way to, did we just hit $1 million stage? Shopify's there to help you grow. Whether you're selling scented soap or offering outdoor outfits, Shopify helps you sell everywhere. From their all-in-one e-commerce platform to their in-person POS system, wherever and whatever you're selling, Shopify has got you covered. Shopify helps you turn browsers into buyers with the internet's best converting checkout, 36% better on average compared to other leading commerce platforms. And sell more with less effort thanks to Shopify Magic, your AI-powered all-star. What I love about Shopify is no matter how big you want to grow, they grow with you. They can handle anything every step of the way, and they let you stay in control of your business and grow however big you want to grow. I mean, everybody wants to grow as big as they can, I suppose, but they'll be with you at every step. Shopify powers 10% of all e-commerce in the United States, and Shopify's the global force behind Allbirds, Rothy's, Brooklinen, and millions of other entrepreneurs of every size across 175 countries. I just got some new Allbirds the other day. They're good. Plus, Shopify's award-winning help is there to support your success every step of the way. Because businesses that grow, grow with Shopify. Sign up for a $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/allies, all lowercase. That's shopify.com/allies. Go to shopify.com/allies now to grow your business no matter what stage you're in. Shopify.com/allies.
And if you are a patron of Easy Allies, thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Now I got another game with another name for you to try to remember.
Yeah.
Lysfanga, the Time Shift Warrior.
Whoa.
Oh, this one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dimensional rifts, perhaps?
No dimensional rifts.
Okay.
Well, I
So-
guess there might be. You might say there's dimensional rifts.
Sick.
Like the multiple clones or versions of you.
Yes.
Isn't it? It's that one, right?
Yeah. So
This is
we'll
cool.
put the story clip up here
Some
first.
God of War
Some
shit.
cool art. They go through like the whole backstory of this civilization.
Yo,
when
I
you start
love civilization backstories.
So it's like, yeah, these demons
Zelda
attack
vibes.
this city, and this woman,
Wind Waker.
like, to fight them, basically became the goddess of time,
Whoa.
and
Zelda.
basically like froze the whole city to protect it, but then the people that had fled and survived, they had this other civilization that came up, and there's this descendants of warriors, the Lysfanga. That's the basically where it comes from.
Oh, this is like the Hades one. Have you seen this before?
It's top down. Yeah, we saw the preview at Summer Game Fest.
Yeah.
You probably remember it from there, but it's actually
yeah.
out next week.
Time hijinks.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
so
This one looks sweet.
yeah, and so basically, but what ends up happening is, so like again, you get the mystical warrior, the Lysfanga, gets passed down through different generations, and in this generation, there's actually twins. She ends up getting the powers. Her brother ends up disappearing. But then as you're wandering around, you see your brother is in this place.
Brother drama.
And so it seems like maybe he's the one, because what ends up happening is that the city that had been frozen in time for 500 years, it gets unfrozen. And now like the demons are running amok, and you have to go and like figure out what's going
The
on.
demons are loose.
Yeah. And
Is
they
the
call
way
the demons like
so many games
Raxes or
begin.
something like that. Yeah. What's that?
That's a lot of video games start like that.
Yeah.
The demons are
The
loose.
demons are loose. And maybe your brother's behind it, but you don't know why. But anyway, so
Yo, Grenos looks awesome.
yeah, so there's this golem guy that you meet along the way, who kind of helps you out at your home base, and then like you kind of talk to him as you're journeying along and stuff. Yeah, there's this home base. I only got to see a little bit of the introduction of this. I did the first act, but for most of the time, you're wandering through the city, and then when you get to, you can probably switch to the other set of B-roll now with the gameplay B-roll. When you get to a combat area,
Yeah.
then it becomes like an arena where it's like it walls off,
Devil May Cry.
and you've got to like destroy all the enemies, but there's a time limit. And so this is where the time goddess comes in and gives you the blessing to create what they call remnants, which are copies of yourself. And so you start off with a limited number of remnants, and then as you go farther through the game, you can have more and more copies. And so essentially, it's kind of like editing, Isla. So it's like you have you do one thing over here, and you only have like however much time to do it in, and then when your timer runs out, then you have to do something on the other side, and you have to basically, your goal is to kill all the guys in that same timeline.
Killing all guys is what I try to do when I edit too. Yeah.
So, and then there's all these little tricks that kind of work into it as well. So it's like there'll be these guys that are called the twins, and when the twins kind of like have a shared health bar, and so you have to kill the guy on the left and this guy on the right at the same time. So you have to coordinate towards like, okay, you go and you kill two guys here, and then you kill him, and then on this side, kill two guys here, and then kill him. So they're like, you sync up
Yeah.
when their death is going to happen. Because if you don't, then the other one will just come back
It
to
sounds
life.
like there's potential, Bloodworth, for every single fight to be impactful. Because you're trying to beat the time, even like trash mobs that you can probably dispose of pretty easily.
Mm-hmm.
You're still on the clock. You still have to like think strategically.
Yeah.
So that is
And
exciting.
every level, like every fight has kind of like a time goal.
Yeah.
And I haven't really seen like what the reward is for like hitting those goals, but there is like a little, at least a check box. It's like, okay, you got it within the time limit. You know, it's like, and some of the time limits are like really quick, like 30 seconds or whatever.
Yeah.
But some of the other things that you have to do is like sometimes like you'll have to like hit a switch on this side to like drop a gate down.
Yeah.
And then with your copy, then you can go through the gate,
That's
go
fun.
over there.
That's super fun.
There are these big guys with shields, and they can only be attacked from behind. But as soon as you start attacking them, they'll face you with their shield.
So then you use your
so you
other
need
copy. That's
one
fun.
person to attack the front, then go behind them on the next run, attack them from behind.
That's very
Gotcha.
clever.
This is
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Damiani?
How amenable is this to like the figuring it out, like the trial and error part of it? Like did it feel frustrating at all trying to, when you obviously like you don't know what you should be doing just yet? Because I know these types of games, that's kind of like one of the biggest sticking points is like how smooth they make that experience for the player.
I think they introduce everything at a pretty good clip to where you're not too caught off guard. Like I was saying, like each one of these new enemies gets introduced on its own. And so it's like you learn how to deal with that enemy. And then it's like, okay, now we'll mix in, the twins and the guardian at the same time. Another one they have is like these like bomb bat kind of things. And so basically like when you fully deplete their health, then you like slam them like a volleyball in a direction. And so you can kind of use that. So like the guardians, like sometimes, I was saying like you could do the thing with one copy attacking the shield and the other copy from behind. But if you hit them with the bomb, then you don't have to worry about that because they'll be stunned. And so you can hit them with the bomb and then go and attack them.
Nice.
How
many weapons are there?
Figuring out. So I think it, like at least at first you just have the like pretty basic attacks. But I did get like a spell to shoot like a projectile, like a Dragon Ball kind of thing.
Dragon Ball?
Or not Dragon, but like a Hadouken kind of thing.
Kamehameha.
Kamehameha.
Kamehameha!
The Dragon Ball.
But I got another thing to where I could put down like a big area of effect blast, so it just like explode just everyone within a circle. And it looked like there's a lot of those to unlock when I was looking through the menus.
Yeah, how's the roguelite element? Are you like pumping up your stats?
It's
after
not
each one of these?
roguelite.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's just like, do you
like,
get XP? Do you just unlock things as you progress?
Yeah.
Like you beat a level and it's like, oh yeah, you got this.
You get certain things specifically along the way. With the remnants, they're also kind of like essentially like pieces of heart. So like if you really explore the world, like you can find treasure chests, and if you get 4 of those pieces, then you get another copy that you can use.
That's some Sora energy. Looking for heart pieces.
They're also running around and exploring. I was finding like these blue orbs, but I haven't gotten to where like you actually use those or spend those. So I don't know what the blue orbs are, but they were all over the place in little hidden corners and stuff. Yeah, probably some kind of shop. So I don't know how many of those things you'll end up buying versus finding along the way. The ones I've gotten so far were just sort of like handed to you. It's like you got to a certain point and it's like, okay, here's a new ability, go use it.
Yeah.
So
what's the date on this? Because Hades 2 Early Access is coming up this year, right?
This is next Tuesday. This is February 13th.
Perfect.
Yeah. Pretty sure it's only on PC. And not too demanding. They say, like I said, I only did the first act, and I spent a couple hours with it. But they were saying 7 to 9 hours.
Oh, beautiful.
Okay.
Yeah, this is shaping up, Blood.
But I was already getting to points towards the end of Act 1 where I was like kind of getting into the addiction of like trying to beat those times.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, the time was like 45 seconds and I did like in like twice that, and it's like, okay, now I can get that time down. And then like I got it really close. It's like, oh, okay, let me try again. So
Nice.
That's very promising.
Definitely.
Bloodworth.
Good sign.
Yeah.
I'm super into this.
Yep.
Next up, we're doing a couple check-ins with Huber.
Check-in time.
First one, Suicide Squad. You finished it. You did Endgame.
Yikes.
Yikes.
Oh, here
Yo,
we
my
go.
opinion since last week went down
Oh, no.
Dude, because
a solid amount.
without saying anything, no spoilers, but like, I had seen the ending or part of the ending, and I figured you would hate it. And I was like, you must not have gotten to that yet.
Yeah, I hated the ending. Oh my gosh. And the end game is really bad. It's really bad, and it's shocking that it's so bad after so long and with the amount of resources you would have for a project like this, like WB, DC, Justice League, Rocksteady.
So, but describe it. Like, what are you doing after the game finishes?
So how do I say it? Basically there's some multiverse shenanigans, and you know.
Okay, so that's already started. That's not even. We're not waiting for the season pass. That's happening right after the end.
Yeah, there's some like multiverse shenanigans, and you're basically, in a nutshell, just going around doing, other than like one new activity, you're basically doing the same activities against the same enemies with just really annoying parameters sometimes. Like, that was the biggest thing that really got me with this game, is how just annoying like some of the fights are. Just like, oh, well, you can only crit these enemies, but you have to use elemental to make them vulnerable to crit. Just all this legwork. Like, Gabby said the funniest thing where she was playing in the beginning, and she was like, yeah, the game asked me to shoot the enemies in the legs, and I was hard out. Like, it's just not fun. Like, there's so many things that are just not fun. But I will say that I am curious to see what they can do, because there is like a horde mode that's pretty fun. It's not like a 10 out of 10 grade or anything, but it's pretty fun. There's just like a endless horde mode type thing. And I'm wondering if, you know, when season 1 starts, hopefully that can add a bunch of new activities and new ways to play, and maybe they can like balance out some of this. But there's just so much getting in the way of the fun that a lot of the stuff just becomes a chore, and the end game is really, it's dire for me. You know, I was going to stream it, and I really wanted to stream it to show everyone, and I was just like, I don't have it in me to play any more of this.
Gosh.
Yeah. There's some very touching Kevin Conroy love. I know some people were like, I did see this thing where people were disappointed with like Batman in this game, and that was all my favorite part. Like, I thought, you know, we got to spend a lot of time with him. Like, he's like chattering on the, you know, how you hear like enemy chatter. He's like trolling you pretty much like the whole game, which is really fun. And there's like I was openly crying at one point with, you know, the love of Kevin Conroy. So there is that, and I will absolutely shout that out.
Didn't we? Yeah, wait. Gabby raises the thing. Didn't we have a bet about that? That Suicide Squad would make you cry?
Did we?
Did we?
I think that sounds so familiar.
Hang on, I'll look into it. It might have been.
I was weeping,
scratching. Yeah,
it might have been in the predictions.
I was crying, full tears. Yeah.
Okay, I'll look into it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And just the boss fights are horrendous, especially the last fight. It's basically like a reused boss fight. It was terrible. So really, the end of this game was just, you know, you could have risen up to the surface and swam in the pool of sevens, but you got dragged down hard to the depths of something way worse.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Rushing death.
Yeah. But on a good note, Blood.
On a good note,
Playing something else.
Like a Dragon, Infinite Wealth, still playing.
Yes. And like, I just wanted to bring it up one more time because I am, you know, I had been like so critical of this franchise for a minute there because I was so fatigued. And Infinite Wealth has spoken to me on the highest levels of this franchise.
I just keep seeing people talk about this game.
It is one of the best in the series. The way it combines Kazuma's whole storyline with Ichiban's storyline. Like, it's only Ichiban's second game, but then you have Kazuma, who's played so many, like, I didn't know how badly I needed them together, and to just have these two storylines that, like, tell their own story, have their own thing, but also connect in really interesting ways. So there's that. And then just I've been really getting into the combat because I've been doing these like optional dungeons and stuff.
That's
just
cool,
how.
Because I remember people feeling like they got burnt out on combat in 7.
Yes. This combat, just being able to move around, there's like so much depth to it, but it's like so snappy. So I can imagine people that are unfamiliar with turn-based combat or who maybe don't always like turn-based combat might be really into this because position matters. You can move around to try to attack enemies from behind. You can attack them near your companions so that they might get a hit in as well. And then just aiming them around like bowling balls, knocking enemies into walls or other enemies. It's just so fun. And even if you grind in this game and you're like leveled up pretty far, like there are some times when you will just stumble into an encounter that is like, okay, wait a sec. I gotta like, whoa, slow down here. I'm not like just mashing through these encounters. Like some of these encounters get pretty intense.
Nice.
So just Infinite Wealth is so good. Absolute early GOTY contender. One of the best in the franchise. You can hop in from, I would definitely recommend playing 7 and then this if you're going to go that route. But there is a lot of culminating with Kiryu's journey, you know. So the barrier to entry can be really, really high if you're a stickler for that stuff, which I always am, as you know. But then also if you take the other route and you come
Can't get this man to play Tekken.
if you go the other route, you could totally just play 7 and then this. But yeah, I totally get the steep barrier of that. But that aside, this franchise is continually excellent. So even if you start at 0 or wherever you start, take your time and just enjoy the ride. It's not about just grinding and consuming until you get to the destination. Like Kazuma is going down as maybe the best video game protagonist of all time. Is that a bold statement to make right now? Who else has been in 10 freaking mainline video games with a story that spans 4+ decades? It is just incredible. And I think sooner rather than later, like, he is just going to be called the greatest of all time. Like, that's where I'm at right now, honestly. It's nuts.
Isla found this thing with Suicide Squad.
Okay, yes. So, in our 2023 predictions, predictions, the question was, will Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League make Huber and Jones tear up?
I cried.
Yeah.
100%.
Blood, Don, and Gabby said no. Everybody else said yes. Blood, you said no. We won't find out from Jones. But we had already covered this. The game had not come out by the time we did our 2024 predictions.
The delays.
And we didn't do carryovers. So technically the answer was correct, no, because it hadn't come out and you hadn't cried yet. But I did make a note for next year's predictions that we can mention that you later did cry.
Yes, I promise you I cried.
I love that. I love that.
Yes.
So yeah, I've made a note of it.
Excellent. Anything else about Infinite Wealth from you or anyone else with questions? Or
just a masterful RPG with so much to get addicted to, so much variety. Everything is meaningful. The economy. Maybe there's a few too many items. And maybe a couple too many moves. Sometimes, like later on, it gets pretty overwhelming. But overall, there's just another reason to get into this franchise. Because as we know, they crank some games out, and it's not going anywhere anytime soon. And thank you, Sega. Thank you. You know, it's the Godfather. Just when I think I'm out, they pull me back in.
And doing really well on numbers, too.
Yeah, I saw that. Like, fastest selling, right? Yes. Well deserved. Well deserved.
Also this week, all right, get our layoffs out of the way. 2K Games is laying off an undisclosed number of developers at the Austin offices for Visual Concepts. Sports guys. Hidden Path Entertainment is laying off 44 after failing to find new funding for an RPG they'd been working on. Quote, for over 6 months, our team at Hidden Path Entertainment has been in numerous active discussions to find replacement funding for an exciting RPG product. In the face of a challenging environment, we now have no choice but to pause development on that project and reduce the company size until we have an opportunity to return to it. So that kind of talks about the broader things we were talking about. It's like just the investors are not really out there for people.
Yeah.
And there's been some headlines about some of the Activision studios, basically just more details on those Activision Microsoft layoffs. Toys for Bob and Sledgehammer Games both took significant hits, about 80 people each. The FTC is now raising a stink about it.
What?
Yeah, because of the
1,900 other people that.
well, this is part of that 1,900.
Yeah.
But yeah, because it's, they're still building their case to try to undo the merger.
Oh my gosh.
That they wanted to block originally.
Which in reading about that, I discovered, that they have successfully done it. Like they unmergered Whole Foods with this chain that they had already acquired, and then the FTC made them undo it and like sell off a bunch of that stuff. It's really wild.
It just, from the knee-jerk reactions I saw from the legal folks on my feed, it was like they weren't really it's like impressed by the FTC's reasoning there. And then Microsoft fired back saying that Activision was planning to do layoffs even if they hadn't been acquired. So, because that's one of the FTC's kind of things is, they were saying, it's like, in court, they were saying that Activision would operate independently. But Microsoft also kind of blew back on that. It's like, well, the deals changed a long time after that case. We did this thing, we did that thing. And so, yeah, kind of wild. But on the positive side of things, to
please.
hopefully slow layoffs in other
Please.
sectors, IGN is unionizing. Workers have formed the IGN Creators Guild, comprising about 80 employees. Can you believe IGN has 80 employees to begin with?
Large fries.
Yeah.
Steak fries.
At the company. They're seeking voluntary recognition of the union by Ziff Davis. 87% of eligible workers have signed union authorization cards.
Quick Googling says IGN has 250 employees.
Wild.
Roughly.
Wild. Huge one. Disney and Epic.
This is wild. Sora's coming, dude. Sora's coming. It's coming to the island. Let's go.
They have announced a huge new partnership to essentially create a Disney universe within / alongside Fortnite. They're still talking about this as part of Fortnite. I'm like, what? You're creating
with a
so
gun.
nuts.
Let's go.
Mickey with a gun, dude.
just wild.
Drive-by with Sora.
Maybe he'll have like little poppers. Like he'll shoot out like bubble gum wrappers or something. I don't know.
Well, because Grumbum, my good buddy who I play Fortnite with very often, was talking about this, and he was like, yeah, but could they really give like these Disney characters guns?
The rule I'm aware of is no. Like they
Yeah.
had big strict stuff for Roger Rabbit where they were like because Roger gives him that tire or whatever, and they were
Yeah.
like Mickey wouldn't do that. You
Yeah.
know? So they had to
Mickey has a Keyblade.
Yeah, so that's
So
what
he
I
doesn't
brought
want-
up,
Yeah.
Damiani. That's what I brought up.
Yeah.
I was like, dude, Kingdom Hearts is pretty like, I mean, it's team for team, but it's like pretty violent, Mickey's out there slashing people down.
Yeah, wearing like black coats, being all
Yeah.
edgelord Mickey.
Yeah.
He's kind of depressed at times.
But I wonder though, because we
Punish
do have,
Mickey, dude.
so we now have Fortnite Creative, we have the Rocket League thing, we have the Lego thing.
Yeah.
I do wonder if it's going to be kind of more like that, to where it's like
The music
it's,
thing.
It's
Yeah.
enveloped in Fortnite.
Yeah, it'll be
but
like
it's
one
not
of the-
like you can take those characters, every one of those characters, into Fortnite proper. So they might not have guns.
Yeah.
If that's the case, if it's like a game within a game.
Bloodworth, you bring up a good point, because you can't bring all of your skins into Lego Fortnite. Some of them are just like grayed out and you can't use them.
Because like ratings business, maybe?
I don't know about that, but just like because when you do it, it's like a Lego version of the characters. So maybe they
okay.
just haven't
Yeah, that
made
could be
Lego characters for all of them. But I mean, that's kind of a precedent, I guess, because
Yeah.
then it's just the other way and they can use that as an
Yeah,
excuse.
because it's Lego want a Lego Kratos or something. Yeah. Exactly.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I like how Universal Studios announced Epic Universe, and then Disney and Epic are like, hold my beer. We're just going to do
Yeah,
this.
if you're not aware, Epic Universe is the new Universal Park in Florida, which is where the Mario Brothers Super
Will
Nintendo
be,
World
yeah.
will be over there.
They're going to have a horror world, which seems cool.
Cool.
Dark Universe.
Yeah, Dark Universe, dude. They won't let it die,
That's
dude.
so
They will
funny.
not let Dark Universe go.
They spent the budget. Might as well use the logo and everything.
I had two thoughts. One, I really wanted Sora in Fortnite, obviously Disney characters and stuff. But I thought of Jones, a way for Disney Infinity to somehow not Disney Infinity proper, but a Disney Infinity adjacent type game
Sure.
that could live in Fortnite.
Yeah, because there's a lot of creative stuff, people building levels and stuff. in
Exactly.
Infinity,
Yeah.
But yeah, the Walt Disney Company and Epic Games will collaborate on an all-new games and entertainment universe that will further expand the reach of beloved Disney stories and experiences. Disney will also invest $1.5 billion
So much money.
to acquire an equity stake in Epic Games alongside the multi-year project.
Did you get the
Whoa.
quote from, it was Iger, I believe?
I saw it. I didn't write
Basically,
it
he was just like, yeah, we saw people's engagement with video games compared to movies and TV, and we really wanted a piece of that. They're saying so many words. He's basically just said that. Like, oh, people play games a shitload. Like, we want in on that.
We have to be there, and we have to be there as soon as we possibly can in a very compelling way. That.
Yeah, Disney is so back and forth
Yeah.
on video games. I don't know, man. I don't.
My favorite
I feel
thing
like in
with-
5 years they'll just abandon him again.
Right. My favorite thing with how Disney is back and forth on video games, because some people are like, oh, yeah, we made a game, we licensed our thing. It's like, Disney's like, we made a company, had it for years, fired everyone. Now we've invested $1 billion in Epic because we're doing it over again. They're either all in or all out. Like,
Yeah.
it's so funny.
Persona 3 Reload surpassed 1 million units within the first 7 days,
Yeah.
making it the fastest selling game to reach the aforementioned sales number in Atlas's history. So,
Never surprising. Never surprises me ever. I will never be surprised by fastest selling game.
speaking of investments, Kadokawa, parent company of From Software, is acquire.
That was funny. The co-developer of Octopath, right?
Yeah, they co-developed Octopath, but this is the thing that's more interesting to me. They worked with From Software back in the day on Tenchu.
Tenchu hype.
Uh-oh.
So
It's time.
Let the speculation begin, dude.
It's 100% time
Yeah.
for a Tenchu. Look at all that is the trend right now. We got Assassin's Creed Red, we got Rise of the Ronin, we got Sekiro, let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go.
They did it to strengthen the ability to create IP in games.
Sick. Do you remember Bloodborne? What the hell?
What's
Come
Bloodborne?
on. What is going on? I will take a patch for crying out loud.
That's the like.
Jeez.
That's all I want. Like
God,
everyone's always like, including me. You know, everyone's always like Blue Point remake, Bloodborne 2, and it's like, yeah, sure. I want a patch.
Just give me a
I want
patch.
a 60 frames
Yeah.
per second PS5 patch.
Seriously.
That's all I want. Like, I'm sure that's more complicated than just saying it, but like, come
Right.
on, dude. I'll pay $70
Same.
for a patch,
Same.
fully,
100%.
full price for a patch. I will pay it.
Yes. They release a patch for sale. That'd be the funniest shit.
Yeah, it's called Bloodborne version 1.
Yeah.
Yoko Shimomura is being honored with the Lifetime Achievement Award at this year's GDC Awards.
So good, dude.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
The composer is best known for her work on Kingdom Hearts, Final Fantasy, and several Mario RPG games. But she's also worked on Street Fighter 2, Parasite Eve, the Mana series, tons of other stuff.
Heck yeah.
Play this one. This came in my email this morning. This is kind
I
of,
watched this trailer, dude. This was cool.
yeah, it
Interesting.
might not be huge, but it was very interesting to me.
I love it when you bring games like
It's
this.
called The
Glenn.
Bustling World, being developed by a couple in China. Sounds crazy ambitious. It's like you could go out and you could be a farmer, or you could be a criminal and join the underworld, or you could become a businessman, build cities, be a ruler, find somebody out there that you want to marry. Like, there's just like, it just feels like you could go around and do just about anything in this thing. Like it's so wild because it's like you see things where like you're running around like a ninja stealth killing people,
I didn't
and then
understand.
you see another shot where you're like building a town like
I was
Sin
like,
City.
yeah, I was like, what the heck? The building looked really chill too. I don't know if that was for the trailer
Yeah, it wasn't
purposes.
like too in depth.
Yeah, it wasn't like Sims. It was basically just like, pillars,
The graphics
roof,
are so cool.
wall. Yeah, the visuals are awesome. The whole vibe of it, Blood. I was into it.
Yeah. Features, dynamic world and NPC AI. Every element in the game world thinks and decides independently,
Yo.
reacting uniquely to your actions. NPCs with rich personal lives, families, and social dynamics respond to your
Dude.
interactions, impacting the game's evolving cities. Authentic production mechanics, realistic ancient Chinese handicrafts like cooking, weaving, and smelting.
That's great.
Options for manual production or large-scale automated processes. Nearly 2,000 building components for creating diverse architectural styles.
Whoa,
with
how
designs
many?
Dude,
2,000 building
Holy
components.
crap.
I am into
Yeah,
this.
this game is sick.
Are there gay people?
Engage with any NPC from neighbors to kings.
Ancient China.
Befriend,
We've always
marry,
existed, you man.
bribe,
But
or
I mean,
confront
this game-
characters in
that'd be
your
cool.
journey. Your actions and interactions may have unforeseen consequences and impacts.
Dude. Stealth and loot. The combat, I was like, wow, this is like an action game too.
An honest life of work. Numerous job roles like shopkeeper, farmer, miner, logger, chef, and many more. And just tons of stuff. Become a business titan. Clothing simulation. To like choose a darker path. All kinds of stuff.
Recruit companions. It's got
This
me.
game is amazing.
Yeah.
When's it come out?
I don't
know?
know that they have an actual, because they just announced that they're doing wish lists.
Raid Bandit Camps, dude?
I know, I don't like-
know that there's like an actual
Yeah,
release
this
window
shot too
yet,
is so cool.
but
I don't understand like what. Like I need to see the loop.
Right.
I need to.
This does kind of ring of one of those games where it's like, you can do anything, which really means you can't do anything because it's like everything is like 2% of an idea.
Yeah,
yeah, I mean,
like this shot, dude.
But this
what
looks sick.
in the world.
we shall see.
Very cool.
Next up, another interesting game that got announced last night is Lost Helden. It's a JRPG from Artisan Studios, and they've gotten on board Takeshi Oga, who is an illustrator from the Siren series, as well as
shit.
Gravity Rush 1 and 2.
Oh shit, Damiani's hyped.
And then on the audio side, the composer and audio director is Hitoshi Sakimoto, who has been on Final Fantasy XII, Final Fantasy Tactics, Tactics Over, and Unicorn Overlord. So, some good pedigree there. And it's an interesting kind of like 3D, but like painterly textures
Yeah.
look to it. So, yeah, we'll see how it comes across. But yeah, definitely some interesting, especially
Some,
the
like,
backgrounds.
Vanillaware vibes right there.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, the composer worked on Unicorn Overlord. I mean, I don't know he's the composer, but yeah, there could definitely be some similarities going on there.
Whoa, what a creepo. Tongue monster.
And the Grammy for Best Score Soundtrack for Video Games went to Star Wars Jedi Survivor,
Very cool.
Hey, all right.
composed by Stephen Barton and Gordy Hobb.
Well done.
It's time for Love and Respect. Love and Respect.
Respect.
On point there, Damiani.
Yeah, loved it, Damiani.
Yeah,
Right
I
on it.
totally cheated.
Oh.
Cheated.
How do you cheat?
I did oven respect because I didn't know I couldn't hear Rufus, so I waited for the I went oven respect.
Nice.
You laugh, Damiani, but in choirs, you kind of do that a lot with like S's and V's and stuff like that, or T's a lot. Like
I didn't know that.
you can be like, so that you don't have 800 people going at different times. You say like, okay, only the sopranos do the T.
Dude,
Like,
choir
basically.
strats.
Yeah,
Nice.
all about blend, Damiani.
Oh,
You're
no.
doing great.
We started a meme. Oven respect.
Oven
Oven
respect.
respect.
Oven respect.
Respect your ovens, chat.
From Mistwalker.
Mistwalker.
Hello, allies. I love lost media. Whether it be an old TV show that got lost to time, or a video game that never saw the light of day, or demos of popular songs that are stuck on some old cassettes. One of the most recent discoveries was an Americanized version of Gundam called Revolution. That got me thinking about what could have been. My question is this. What are some lost media that you all have either a fascination with or that you also wonder what could have been if it had gone further? Or media that you remember that has now become lost?
I was going to say Jodorowsky's Dune.
Oh, Jodorowsky's Dune would have been lit, dude.
There it is.
Well, we got a great documentary about it. Watch the documentary Jodorowsky's Dune. It is bananas.
Nice.
Sick. Huh. Lost media.
Yeah, I don't know like
Shenmue 4.
if it's like lost or like just rare, like, but the Bandai Satellaview Zelda game.
Oh, sure.
Because if you classify that, I guess, I mean, there's been a good amount of preservation effort on the behalf of, trying to restore those and give like a playable version. But, like long before we had like, online games, game as a service games, like going offline and losing those forever. This was like one of the earliest examples of, this is lost to time potentially because it was a limited time thing only. And I always hoped that one day Nintendo would just reissue them somehow, like all the anniversaries, like it's the 40th anniversary of the we hit the 40th anniversary for the original. Sorry, not 40th. I'm lost, but every anniversary milestone we've hit for the Legend of Zelda series, I'm like, will this be the time to get it? It's like, nah, don't think it's ever gonna happen.
Am I allowed to say Battlefield 2? They shut
that
that game off. I know there's like weird private servers.
Yeah, people have figured out some private server things, but when they lost GameSpy.
Yeah, but for the most part, that is a actual dead game. I mean, private servers aside, but it's just like one of my favorite games ever, dude. I wish I could just like boot that up.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of things like that. Like I don't even know if those things that I came up with are necessarily
PT. Does that count?
Necessarily
PT
lost media,
is a
right?
Good one.
Oh yeah, don't let me forget. I brought the PS4 for you. Yeah.
Sweet.
Oh.
I don't know what that's about, but.
Oh.
Like what we bring it up every now and then, but like one of my favorite movies is Nausicaä, and the thing that got me into that was basically a butchered American version of that movie that I had, as a kid and just like watched over and over. Like I watched everything else, and it wasn't until like I was, fully grown up and found out about the original movie and then like just how much they had cut out of it and everything. But it'd still be fascinating to go back and see Warriors of the Wind again now and like actually compare like how badly they did that.
Should do that.
I have no idea whether this is lost media, but I'm guessing they don't sell this or stream this anywhere. But I have VHS tapes for Gulliver's Travels TV miniseries.
Whoa.
That they did when I was in high school. There was Ted Danson and Mary Steenburgen.
Love them. I love them. They're in Curb Your Enthusiasm a lot.
I did like a compare contrast thing, like between the novel and the TV show, like one of my term papers or something like that.
Nice.
And then like just tons of old games: Blur, Split Second, Spec Ops Now,
Spec Ops, Brink. That's a good one. Yeah, I think anything like that where like servers are completely shut off and there's just no way to play it. Yeah.
Oh, dude, Warriors of the Wind, the entirety of it is on Internet Archive.
Nice.
Oh, yeah, I'm not surprised.
Tell me I need to watch it.
That's awesome.
To honor the question asker, I would say Mist Online.
Yeah.
Sort of, you can kind of, sort of still play it. They kind of, sort of have those servers kind of, sort of back up, but it's not really what it used to be. These are attainable now on YouTube and whatever, but like I remember the old BBC Chronicles of Narnia series, like Silverchair and stuff. I really was into that as a kid.
I think we actually have DVDs of those sitting around somewhere. Yeah,
I was super into those as a kid. And then there was a movie that for years and years and years I remembered from the video store days, and I kept trying to remember what it was. And then viewers of reaction shots, patreon.com/reaction shot, helped me realize what it was. And Tokyo Slim, I think, was among them. But it's called Attack of the Super Monsters. And it mixes like old Godzilla style, like live action puppet miniature footage with animated characters. And it is completely insane.
Cool.
I love it. And like there's models of the cars and stuff and planes. But yeah, that. And also then segments of movies, like cut out clips, like and scenes that were lost. Like they're more attainable now, but like the octopus from Goonies or the When Love Is Gone song from Muppet Christmas Carol, that kind of stuff I always think about.
Nice. Yeah, not to mention like all the crazy canceled games. Agent is lost media.
Oh my God, the original theatrical releases of Star Wars. Great call, Shifty Chicken.
Oh,
Fully, dude.
I have those on VHS.
Beast.
Cannot believe those are just in the vault.
Insane that they're sticking to
So
that.
Ridiculous.
From Chris Irely. What is up, allies? So I have been a PlayStation Plus subscriber since they originally rolled out the program on the PlayStation 3. Recently, they are holding a promotion where you can upgrade from Essential to Extra for the same price as Essential. So I upgraded to try it out. The thing is, for me, I have been hesitant to try these Game Pass-like subscriptions in the past because I usually own or have played a majority of the games on offer that would interest me, which I know is a privilege that many don't have. But I looked over the game catalog on offer right now, and I saw about 20 games out of a couple hundred that interest me to play or try out. So my question is this. What are your personal experiences with Game Pass-like subscriptions? Have they been a good value / something you've enjoyed and gotten a lot out of? And also, given my situation, do you think a Game Pass subscription is a good fit for me? Given I own or played many of these games on offer and still have a decent back catalog to go through, does the monthly refresh on the service make it worthwhile?
Since we work in the biz, it's a little different because we do get codes.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's definitely a factor. I will say some of these subscriptions just stress me the hell out. Like Game Pass was like stressing me out for a bit because it was like, gotta get the value, gotta play this, gotta play this. It becomes more like consuming for me rather than enjoying.
Right.
So, and like they said, like they already have a lot of the, you know, the games that they want, which is usually my experience with subscription services as well. Mostly because this is my job. So.
Yeah. Damiani?
Yeah, I think I've only used Game Pass for PC once because we needed something off of it for something, and then it was like $1 for a month, and then didn't re-up it. Yeah, it's just too many. Like, I don't have an interest in having like access to that many games
It's
like
so
right
many.
away. I generally focus on one game and enjoy it, and I think, I would see myself maybe using it, obviously, but because I'm like as Hubert described, in a situation where it's like I'm just getting access to games already, I don't really need to pay to get any more. So yeah, if I was in a different situation, possibly be interested in one of those, but yeah, currently not. And the ones I'd be most interested in don't exist. Like Nintendo offered, like they have the voucher thing for like 2 games for a discount, but Nintendo offered a subscription to get, just get all the new first party releases. It's like, sure, I'll sign up for that, but they'll never do that because they don't want to lose money on that.
For me, I'm like the perfect rube for one of these things because like I just subscribe to it and then forget it exists. Like I'll check if something is on Game Pass and be like, oh, it's on Game Pass, I'll try it, because like so many games, if we don't get a code, I'll try it and dip out after like an hour, right? So it's like Game Pass for me is ideal in that way because kind of the opposite of Huber, it's like it's so rare for me to find a game that's going to keep me on board, So it's good in that way, but yeah, I mean like largely it's because you have to pay to have multiplayer that I'm like, I got to pay these fuckers anyway, so I might as well pay them an extra $10 for free games. Sony did not get me on that because like their program I think is frankly terrible.
Yep.
But I keep the base level PlayStation Plus because I need to play multiplayer, which
Yeah.
again on PlayStation used to be free. So
Bastards.
Yeah, it's funny because Huber, when you're saying it's like you think you probably don't use it as much because you get so many codes, whereas like I kind of am like I'm like the inverse of that, to where it's like I probably use it more because of stuff that I want to cover or check out that I might not have a code for, right?
Yeah.
So like Game Pass is just like a really quick, easy way to get it. It's like, oh, that's on Game Pass. Sick.
Totally.
Don't got to worry about figuring that out or, asking for it or buying it or anything like that. In terms of like, Chris's situation and like looking and only seeing like a dozen or so games there. Yeah, like I think if I didn't like have those situations where it's like, oh, it's just convenient for me to have it so that like when I need it, I can get something.
Mm-hmm.
I think I would probably be more on like a month-to-month thing, right? Where it's like if I know like this month I'm playing Zelda and I'm not going to play anything that's on Game Pass or PS Plus, then I would just pause that subscription for now.
Yeah, and then
but then if I see something that's there, it's like, okay, well, I'd rather pay $10, $11
totally
for Game Pass for the month and then, try to check out a couple other things after I finish that shorty.
I love that you say that because I feel like our generation has like started the subscription model, that era. So it's like a little while ago, there weren't too many. It's like, all right, I had my Netflix and my Amazon Prime or whatever. So I would just let them run forever. But now, because there's so many, you really got to like, cancel it and then reactivate it when you need it.
Yeah.
Versus just like leaving it on.
What I love is when you try to cancel one of these things and they're like, here, we'll give you 3 months for $1 month dollar or whatever. And like, cool.
Yeah.
But no, I'm not watching that stuff right now, so I guess not. Yeah. Just like really like figure out. It's like, yeah, I'm not using that streaming service, so why am I paying for it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas like with Game Pass, it's something that's like a maybe not every month, but usually most months there's something I end up having to grab on there for one reason or another.
Yeah.
I wonder, Chat and I are kind of talking, well, we're screaming about columns right now, but Chat was mentioning renting games and how that is such a missed feature of the modern era. Pardon me.
God,
and I was thinking about Steam and its refund policy, because like if other consoles had that refund policy, I wonder if that would kind of negate the need for a Game Pass type thing, because it's like if you could try a game for an hour and a half and then return it if you didn't like it, that's kind of like renting it, sort of. I mean, obviously, if you liked it, you couldn't beat it in 2 days and then just take it back, and that was $5. But I don't know.
God, renting was
fun.
Sick. Oh my God, it was so fun.
Renting was free when your parents were doing it.
God, going just like the endless possibilities, going in and just picking up all the boxes, looking at them. Oh my God, they'd get the new releases and they'd all be gone, and you'd be like, "Well, when's the first one due back?" And they're like, like probably 2 days from now.
Well, what's crazy to think about that, Huber, is like now, like if rentals had still been a thing, if Blockbuster was still around, we would probably spend $10 on a rental.
Oh,
today.
for sure.
Yeah.
And like that's
and then 10 more on snacks.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, you can have this game for like 3 days, or you
all
can pay
these games.
$10 for Game Pass.
Right.
Totally.
So
Yep.
We had Video Vault had 5 for $5, dude. You get 5 movies, 5 days, $5.
Wow.
It was sick.
Holy crap.
But maybe that's the thing to think, because there are like those downsides of like things go out of the service and and you don't really own any of that stuff. But it's like maybe that's the mindset. It's like it's the rental, Game Pass is the rent recommendation. I was like, oh, maybe just get it on Game Pass, rather than buying it or something. Yeah.
That is one thing I do like about PS Plus. I never speak positively about PS Plus. I'm about to. The add to library feature. Mm-hmm. So even if you if you add a game to your library, like one of the Plus games,
those games,
and then you unsub for like a year, when you come back and you're subbed, you have access to that game. I really like that. That is good.
I also like, for me, kind of thinking about it in that way, Blood, where it's like renting would have cost us probably more because you'd rent 3 games in a month or whatever, and it would be $30. But like, also thinking about Game Pass and PlayStation Plus as like, okay, games are $70 now, and like, if I didn't have these ways to try games, I would probably buy some of them thinking I would like them, right? And if you do that like 3 or 4 times in a year, that's more than $20 a month anyway. So it's like, it's saving me money.
Yep, the numbers don't lie.
Just let it sit there and not use it, it's saving me money.
100%. The numbers do not lie. It is an incredible value. There's no way to say otherwise. It's just in these specific situations, like now, like this, it's like if you have most of the games already,
right,
then you don't get as much value.
Yeah, or like I was saying, it's just like if you're gonna be playing Infinite Wealth
exactly
for 80 hours, so you don't need this right now.
Yeah,
so put it on pause.
Totally.
Yeah. From Zach Wojnar, regarding the Xbox murmurs, I have a paradox for you. Is it too expensive to make games for one box? Or is it too expensive to not make games for just one box? Would Final Fantasy VII Remake have turned a profit without the extra money that they got from PlayStation for exclusivity? Or is that money more or less what they would have made from Xbox sales? Well, you don't know what that money is. That is... This is a very high dollar question.
Damn it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know about the money like Final Fantasy, but I think in terms of like the hype / reach, like there definitely is chatter from even like consumers who are like, man, it seems like the money that Sony's getting, or sorry, Square Enix is getting from Sony might not be enough to offset, I mean, it sucks that we don't know the number, but I think it's fine to speculate and think about, would like FF7 Remake in 2020, if it had come out on everything in that April, would have been, I mean, it was a huge thing, would have been even bigger. 16, especially 16. If 16 came out on everything, at least PC day and date, I mean, I think it would be like huge. I mean, reception wise, it would be a bigger like tentpole style event or just like a moment, not event, but yeah, I don't know how much they're getting paid, but and you have to assume someone in the financial departments are doing accounting or doing due diligence to like numbers, be like, nah, even if we were like our estimates for other platforms versus what we're getting for exclusivity, the exclusivity is more or something, or safer bet, within some margin, of error or whatever. But I don't know. It's a fun hypothetical, but financially, who knows? Because we don't have the answers. But in terms of like prestige and like making it a bigger deal, I think it definitely is impacted by that.
I know this is sort of a roundabout answer, but I know that from certain indie developers that like being on Game Pass covers a lot or all of their budget for the game, right? So like if Game Pass is paying out enough for the budget of a game, which could be, depending on the game, a few $100,000 to $1 million, whatever, like one has to assume that Sony is paying much more than that for exclusivity on a giant title like Final Fantasy. So it's just like, I'm sure they're running these numbers, obviously, and doing this math. So it's like, it's got to be millions, like 20, 30 million. Like,
yeah, didn't they want to pay like
chunk of the budget?
Didn't Xbox want to pay like $50 million to have Red Dead on there or something? Yeah. What was that number? It was some insane number.
What they were guessing.
Yeah,
but that would be for a day one Game Pass release.
Got it.
Is what they were calculating when they had that chart that leaked. Yeah. Well, and you also have to think about Sony taking up a lot of that marketing budget too. Like it's like not money going to them, but money that they're not having to pay.
Yeah.
True. Good point.
With State of Play and, all the commercials and everything. And like how much are they investing on that side? So, but yeah, Square Enix is flat in their report. This is like 1% over last year. And that's with the release of 16. So, it's interesting to consider. They also, had, other things that kind of dipped down a little bit. But if 16 had been on PC and Xbox, maybe it would have been a little higher.
Yeah.
Don't know. At least PC.
So. Yeah, for sure.
Okay. It's time for bets.
Bets.
This week's bet, Skull and Bones.
SMB.
Is out next Friday. Ubisoft Plus subscribers They get access 3 days early.
Did you guys know that this is the first quadruple A game ever made? I mean,
False.
this is an event.
Callisto Protocol was also referred to as quadruple
we've
A.
had that thrown
We've covered
around a
this
couple
8 times.
Are you serious? They said quadruple A? I thought
The
I thought
There's also
Callisto-
Perfect Dark.
there's
I thought
also
Callisto
yeah,
Protocol was AAA indie.
no
No.
quadruple A.
Yeah, that was
The one mainstay,
way.
the one mainstay, assuming S&P is bad, is that all games that someone calls quadruple A are garbage.
I hope Perfect Dark isn't garbage, but it was at the time.
Yeah, or not
it was
garbage.
said.
That's not fair. But don't hit expectations in some way or another.
Anyways, so we could start playing that on February 13th, not counting the beta that's out right now. Once that game is live, we are going to look through the shops for whatever microtransactions there are available. So I want to know how much will the most expensive item in the game be. Could be a cosmetic, could be a season pass, could be currency, some kind of bundle. Just has to be a single line item thing that you click on to spend real money on in the shop. Huber, the stealthy centipede, what do you say? How much?
$99.99.
$99.99.
You'll have a $100 currency bundle.
Damiani, the pompous cocker spaniel,
I went with $25.
25. Isla, the wet hummingbird,
I said $149.95.
95
Thinking
cents.
again of a currency
That's
bundle.
the only bet I'm afraid of. I was like, maybe there's a $150 bundle.
Yeah,
Seriously. Yeah.
Don, the fashionable manatee,
125, he says.
125.
Gabby, what's yours say?
Gabby, optimistic rat.
Ooh, 900 or 99.99. Not 900. Not 900. No, $99.99, same as Hubert.
$99.99.
And mine, the effervescent
Ooh,
hippopotamus,
that's good, too.
$79.99.
Oof,
that's
that's
really
good.
good. That's really good. Damn, that's good. Ooh. What Damiani have?
Damiani's
$25.
$25.
$25.
Yeah.
He's got the low.
Got the low.
All right. Last week's bet, Helldivers 2.
Helldivers.
Out now. Pretty funny tutorial. Get to name your ship. Good stuff. We had to drop into the first mission with enemies, not the tutorial missions, but those are fun. On the hardest difficulty.
Don't do that again, Hubert.
So sorry.
What happened?
He just rubbed his thing against the microphone.
Oh,
It was
okay.
insane sounding.
Listeners,
sorry,
that was his betting cards. That's what
sorry.
happened.
So sorry.
So we're going in on the hardest difficulty available, solo if possible. We had to run straight ahead, firing continuously. I asked last week how long in that scenario we would survive. Huber bet 6 minutes.
I botched this. What the hell was I
Damiani
thinking?
bet 1 minute and 12 seconds.
The hell was I thinking?
Isla bet 16 seconds. Don bet 49 seconds. Gabby bet 1 minute. I bet 57 seconds. If you've got this queued up, you can play it. If not,
I don't.
it will be at the end of this podcast. Watch this. We launched from the Stallion of Equality. The only difficulty setting when you start is trivial. You have to unlock all the difficulty settings.
That's in my favor.
That's all you could do is
This
trivial.
helps.
That's trivial.
You have to unlock them all in sequence. So, however, I was able to drop in solo. You can do that. As I was dropping in, I noticed there was a wall right in front of me.
Yes.
I walked straight ahead.
Yes.
I unloaded a full clip into that wall as an enemy slashed me from behind.
Damn it.
I lived for 8 seconds
8 seconds.
for democracy.
8 seconds.
Untrue.
On trivial. Which then
What?
and then he quit the mission, which then unlocked the next difficulty. So
Yeah,
you don't even
kinda
have to win to get the next difficulty.
I got a trophy for completing a mission. I just booted out of it. I don't know.
Holy
But,
crap. Oh, you gave me so much hope, Blood. You're like, oh, trivial. Oh, there was a wall there.
build
This is
up-
what I was thinking. I was like, let's just walk into a wall for 6 minutes and the enemies won't even come.
There's even a fence there.
There's even a
The
fence.
enemy was on the other side of a fence, but it just like slashed right through it.
Damn
The
it.
fence did not matter.
Damn it.
That brings our scores to Wet Hummingbird 1.
Yay! Wait, oh wait. What the fuck does it sound like? I'll work on it.
Yo, that was good.
And then our leaders, Stealthy Centipede 3. And Pompous Cocker Spaniel 2. Let me tell you about patreon.com/easyallies. We are funded by lovely viewers and listeners just like yourself. So if you enjoy this show, if you think that this is worth your time, also consider it being worth a couple bucks to keep it happening each and every week. We're having a good time talking about video games, seeing what nonsense is in the news every week. And then we also stream. We put some reviews out there. We put out some other videos from time to time. And you can support us through direct donations through the links below the video on YouTube or over on Twitch. You can give Twitch subs, or you can become a patron, which is the most effective way to support us. And you get rewards. At $5, you get this podcast 2 days early. You get it ad-free. You get bonus love and respect questions. You get to submit to those love and respect questions and put in some games and all that stuff, as well as submitting to the wrong question. You also get to get into our Discord and talk about what's going on, talk about that news as soon as it's hitting, talk about food photos and anime and sports and all of that stuff is happening in that Discord. And you get to vote on top 10s. At the $10 tier, you can become a contributor and you can vote on our stream team every month, as well as send in submissions for Community Showcase. And then our $25 up tiers are our producers, and our platinum producers get a shout out on this podcast each and every week. And this month's shout outs go to Jabawabs, Elthanis, Greg the Dark Knight Kettering, and Raymond Wheeler III. Shout out.
Shout
out.
out.
All right. We got some cool stuff hitting out there. Huber did a preview on Final Fantasy VII. Played a bit of that before that demo dropped.
Spoiler free.
Spoiler free. Actually, yeah, you got some compliments on that.
Yeah.
People thanking
that's how
you
I
for
do.
keeping the spoilers out of it, especially after that state of play.
Yeah, apparently way more spoiler free than
nobody-
the state of play.
Nobody wants to hear those spoilers.
Yeah.
Everyone's playing this game
Don't
anyway.
watch this.
I feel like Square Enix sabotaged us on that on multiple fronts. It's like, okay, you're going to have our preview go up at the same time as the demo, and you're going to like put out a spoiler-filled state of play so that nobody wants to watch anything after
Yeah.
that. So, but
Yeah, I saw some people hold their coverage for a day after. Like people like didn't do the push for their previews till yesterday. Actually, I was like, oh, okay.
But check that out. Also, Damiani, this weekend, you're going to be talking about that demo and everything, right? On the solo
Yes.
queue.
Yeah, I have Ash Paulson. He's going to be joining me Saturday at 12 p.m. Pacific time. So we're talking about the demo in general, Rebirth Height.
Sweet.
And I'll be somewhat vague about this, but I do want you to be on the lookout because we got a very special thing that we produced. Isla's been putting a lot of work editing it. I will say it is somewhat retrospective-like, but in a discussion format.
Yeah.
It was I really enjoyed being part of it and editing it. It's really good.
Yeah. So
Hopefully you
I,
like it.
I encourage
Yes.
you to watch that video. However, if you would prefer to do that on audio, it will be on the podcast feed as a bonus episode as well. So keep a lookout for that. And then,
We cannot say anything else about it.
yeah, we'll stay a little guarded, but you'll want to see it. Isla will be hosting next week because I will be out at DICE in Vegas.
Dice.
Mommy's in charge, baby.
Yeah. We got some fun games lined up to talk about, and then whatever the heck Xbox actually says, if Nintendo actually does a Nintendo Direct,
Yeah, all correct. Oops, all corrections.
Oops, all
Next-
correct.
All
next week.
corrections.
For sure.
Yes.
All
and
corrections in Warframe. Next
and
week.
similar to like wanting to be guarded about that last video, I also like I'm nervous about saying when there will be guests, but we were planning to have a guest. Whether they can make it or not, you never know. Things fall through at the last minute, but if everything goes according to plan, somebody will be here on this desk while I'm out.
We have to have a segment called Tenno Time when I'm hosting Red Sky. Yeah,
Tenno
Tenno Time.
But Isla, since you won that bet, you get to give anything you want a shout out. You get the final word, and you get to sign off with your trademark sign off.
Jeepers. I mean, I'll pre-shout out the thing. but can't tell you when it's coming out or what it is. So shouting out solo queue, because I think that's a cool thing that Damiani's been doing. And we love having guests, and I think it's really cool that he's been doing that. Final word. Sorry, I was so hard on you, console warriors. Passion is okay. Just don't direct it with anger. It's okay to love something, but you don't also have to hate. As part of your love. You don't be a fan, not a fanatic. Yeah, that's totally right, Zorgla. Is that Zorgla? Yeah, totally right. Yeah. Listen, we all love video games and we all love consoles. Yeah. Good night and good game.
Mickey with a gun. Let's go.
Mickey with a gun, dude.
Just
I'm
wild.
gonna kill you. Drive by with Sora.
Nice.
Well, forward firing.
Ooh, this is looking good. Hell yeah!
Oops.